If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now, major spoilers, here we go. We're going to talk about the first 15 minutes, and I'm dead serious. Stop listening now, major spoilers, right now. This is your only opportunity. All right, so the movie actually starts out really, really good, man. The first 15 minutes is a solid 8.5 out of 10 stars, and the reason why I can't give it 10 out of 10 stars for the first 15 minutes is because there's this ridiculous scene with Black Widow, man. There's actually two ridiculous scenes with Black Widow, and one of them is that there's this biological agent, this little vial that they're carrying around, and she catches this thing, and I'll tell you how this all works out, but she catches this using a backflip, somersault, front flip, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's some sort of acrobatic move. The thing would have smashed on the ground, okay? Once you see the movie, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. But prior to that, there was this motorcycle scene where she came into the scene chasing after these bad guys, and she like stands up on the motorcycle for no apparent reason. There's just really no reason to do it at all, and she does it, and I was just like, okay, that's ridiculous. Just stop, And anyway, it doesn't take away from the movie, but it's just one of those scenes, just like on Arrow, they do a lot of dumb shit like catching arrows and stuff. That really took me off, man. But anyway, okay, we're gonna start at the beginning. The Winter Soldier is activated. He is activated inside of a Russian lab. They grab this manual that has a red star on there. You should be familiar with most of this stuff from, the Marvel Comics and some of the canon that has come before. You should recognize a lot of this stuff. He's activated. He goes out on this first mission to get this case. I'm not going to tell you what's inside the case because I think that's very important. Even though we're talking about this, and yes, this is a spoiler-filled review, there's something inside the case that I think is very, very important, man, and I was excited to see that when it opened up. All right, so he grabs this case. How it happens, how he acquires the case is actually pretty cool. It's another reason why I couldn't give it 10 out of 10 stars, because it was like, yes, the arm is really powerful, but I think that there should have been more damage to the car, because I'll tell you what happens, man. So he gets activated, gets his mission, jumps on his motorcycle, starts chasing down this target, okay? Target gets acquired, he starts his motorcycle, gets onto the road, follows this car. As he sees the car, he punches it with his silver metal hand, okay? And then the car crashes into a tree, and then the fire starts, okay? If the Winter Soldier would hit a car, it would definitely go off the road, man. But the way that he hit this thing, I mean, there was a little bit of force behind it. And just remembering how powerful his hand was from, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, there should have been a little bit of damage, I guess, to the actual car. And then when it actually hit, the object that it hit, going at that rate of speed that it was going at, would have to be at least 45 to 55 miles per hour on that dirt road. I mean, there's just no way that thing wouldn't have either flipped over, because he hit it on the back. The dude would have, how do you want to say, tried to adjust, and then the car would either have flipped or it would have smashed a little bit differently. But, it is what it is, man. I'm not going to, I guess not enjoy the movie because of that, but it's almost, certain things happen, like, on Supergirl, sometimes they'll have a fight in the air, and then when they land, it's in a different location than where it should actually be. Same thing happened with Man of Steel. Whenever General Zod, they fly into the train station, and then right before the next snap, he pushes back to slam General Zod down, and the location or the angle in which he should have landed was not the correct angle, you know what I'm saying? So, you just have to, it's just one of those pet peeve things. But anyways, once the Winter Soldier actually, acquires his target, then after that, you get to see the brand new Avengers team, I guess you can say, working together, man. We're inside of this marketplace. It looks like it's in, let's go Africa, South Africa. It's all the stuff that we've seen that was filmed, okay? So we know exactly where the location is at. That's Scarlet Witch. It's her first, I guess you could say, mission on this brand new movie, and it's Scarlet Witch, Captain America, Falcon, and and Falcon's brand new friend. Okay. And I want to go ahead and just I'll fast forward a little bit, but Falcon's brand new friend, he lets you know that its name is Red Wing. Okay, so do you remember when we first got introduced to Falcon and we were like, okay, where's his pet? Where's his bird? Where's his, I don't know, his special magical power that he has with animals? Okay, well, I think this is Marvel's way of actually, listening to the fans and giving us a little bit of what we want, man. Maybe the next step after, Infinity War and all the other ones that are coming up next, maybe we'll actually get an actual Falcon bird, and have him run around with that or something. Who knows? But I did love that. I thought it was really, really awesome. That gets introduced inside of here. The Scarlet Witch, Captain America, Falcon, and Black Widow scene, these characters are together for the first time, and what I really love about that is that it's the exact same scene that we've seen on the trailers. Meaning that if you've watched every single Captain America trailer, this is where you guess you could say they spoil the movie. The trailers are literally the first 15 minutes of the movie so far that I've seen. I've watched 15 minutes and 12 seconds. In those 12 seconds, I didn't see anything else from the trailers, man. So we'll see what happens. What ends up happening is that they're actually, so Scarlet Witch, Captain America, Falcon, and Black Widow are actually tracking the character from The Purge, the guy from The Purge. So I actually wrote that down. I said tracking The Purge, okay? And what they're tracking him for is that he's trying to acquire a biological weapon. This biological weapon is what I like to call the yellow serum. And the yellow serum is a danger to the entire world, I guess you can say, man. What was awesome about this, man, is that you get to see the actor that played the original Thanos, man. So if you're familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you've been watching it for many, many years, you will recognize this character immediately. You'll recognize this guy. It's Thanos, man. It's Thanos from the first time that we saw him on Avengers, and it was really, really awesome to see that, man. I won't even lie about that. I was really, literally blown away. And they used him in a pretty good way, man. I mean, he got pretty much destroyed by Black Widow, but that was the first time that we get introduced to him. So it's the character from The Purge. It's Thanos. They're working together. You get to see how do you want to say it, the ramifications of Captain America, the Winter War. You get to see what happened with that character from The Purge, what happened to his face, how he was damaged from Captain America, and then you get to see him die, because he's dead shortly after this scene, man. My favorite quote is, I don't work like that anymore. And then after that, I caught another, and this is another reason why I couldn't give it 10 out of 10 stars with the first 15 minutes, is because there's this grenade scene. Black Widow, she's fighting with the dude from The Purge, and let me go ahead, because I know you guys are going to be saying that, man. Let me go ahead and go to IMDb to make sure I get his exact name correct, because I know there's people who are going to be like, yo, why are you keep calling him The Purge, man? I thought it was just funny because, I'm a fan of The Purge, and I like to make fun of The Purge a lot, because it's a really, really ridiculous series that continues to go on. It's almost like Saw. So anyway... Here it is, man. Let's just scroll down for a little bit. Looking for his name. Still can't find. Is that it? Crossbones. Yeah, there you go. Crossbones. So the Purge, aka Crossbones, and then Thanos. I don't know what his character is. Let me see what his character's name is. Even if he has one, he could be like, African Thug #1 or something like that. Who knows, man? Or Thug 1, Thug 2. Let's see what Marvel has him as. He's still not on here. Still not seeing him. He's still not even listed on IMDb, looks like. Not even at all, man. That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts, man. Let me go over here and go to, because I want to get his name real quick, guys. This is the live one. I'm probably gonna talk about this 15-minute film for probably about a good 30 minutes. Let me see. Original Thanos actor. Here we go. Original Thanos actor. Not Josh Brolin. That's stupid. I said no. The original Thanos actor from Avengers. There he is. Yeah, Damian Porter, man. There we go. So Damian Porter. And let me type in Damian Porter on here so I can get his actual, Damian Porter. Let me see if I can get this name right. All right, I'm on his IMDb now. Let me see. Da, da, da. All right, here we go. Hero Merc #1 on Captain America Civil War. Hero Merc #1. All right, so you have Crossbones, and let me go ahead and just write this down for my information so I can make sure that I do this for my next podcast. Let me see, Crossbones, and then Hero Merc #1. All right, so Crossbones and Black Widow, they start fighting on top of this Humvee, this vehicle, this military vehicle. The hatch is open to where, a gunner can come out and actually, return fire to their enemy. And he backhands Black Widow. She falls down into the Jeep. That's when he says, I don't work like that no more. And the reason why I said that is because Black Widow tried to zap his neck. Tried to electrocute him, I guess you can say, and that's not going to work anymore because he's upgraded. He's Crossbones now, okay? And then after that, he takes a grenade, he throws it down inside of there. Now, the grenade, he throws it, he flicks the pin off of it, releases it out of his hand, it starts dropping down. That's 1 second. It hits the floor, that's 2 seconds. She looks at it, that's 3 seconds. She kicks a guy in the face, that's 4 seconds. I mean, we only have, usually between, 6 to 8 seconds and a grenade goes off. I called bullshit on that because, then an explosion happens. It actually, the little tiny grenade blows her out of the vehicle that she's in. And I was like, oh, fuck, here we go again with this bullshit. That's just the way they decided to do it. Marvel did it, and it's like, whatever, man. Anyway, the grenade blows out. Black Widow, inside of the van, most likely she took the guy, put him on top of the actual grenade, let it explode, and then it blew her out of the actual truck, which makes no fucking sense at all. But that's what they decided to do. That's fine, whatever. Black Widow, she lives, and then after that, we go to another scene, where you see Crossbones. He splits between himself and Hero Merc #1, aka the original Thanos. The original Thanos, they take off in different directions, and there's more people, but I'm not going to talk about them, man. Pretty much they did the whole, split up, and then the rest of the team splits up, and, eventually you'll catch up with the right guy, you know what I'm saying? Or he'll escape, you know what I'm saying? So there's I think there's 3 or 4 different actual, decoys. Okay, and then one person has the actual, biological weapon here. What ends up happening is that Black Widow catches up with old Thanos. She beats the hell out of him, and then after that, you see the vial, the Hero Murky actually says, drop the gun, drop the weapon, or I'll drop this. I'll expose, the entire population to this biological weapon. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, little Red Wing Falcon, he comes behind, he sneaks up behind with his little Red Wing droid, and he shoots the guy, man. And then all of a sudden, the vial drops out of his hand. Now, as this thing is dropping, Black Widow still has to shoot another guy. And this thing is still dropping, and then she does this crazy backflip somersault thing to catch it, and then, and then jumps back up, with another backflip somersault kick thing, and, saves the day or whatever, man. And that's why I was like, oh, fuck, here we go again, Hollywood with their bullshit, you know what I'm saying? That thing would have dropped and hit the floor, but that's okay. We're still happy with the film. We're going to continue on. It's not all bad. We catch up with Captain America, and Captain America is fighting, the Purge, aka Crossbones. And this is some violent fight scenes, and I really appreciate Marvel for this because it is absolutely beautiful to see what they did with Crossbones, man. #1, he calls Captain America a son of a bitch. I would have loved to hear, because, Marvel likes to joke, it would have been nice to see Captain America get the shit punched out of him and then say, language. As soon as Crossbones said that, you know what I'm saying? I've been waiting for this for a long time, you son of a bitch. And then he punches him, language, and then he hits the floor, and that'd have been really awesome, but it didn't happen that way, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The reason why Captain America got hit is because as the people started splitting off and doing the decoy thing, Captain America gave the order to the Avengers to go ahead and, downgrade and try to blend in with the civilian population and stuff. So he throws his cap shield in the air to explode, and I guess guess so nobody can use it or some shit. And it's really, really strange at that point. I was like, what the fuck is going on? When did this happen? When did this occur? When is this a possibility? But that's, I guess, one of the upgrades. And I got to go watch that scene again to make sure that that's exactly what happened. But I do see a shield, and the shield actually gets tossed up in the air, and I do see an explosion because the shield gets tossed up in the air. There's an explosion, and then all of a sudden Crossbone punches Captain America in the back, and then he falls across into the cafe and rolls around and shit. And it was just strange to see, man. Long story short, Captain America, ends up, getting the upper hand on Crossbones. The fight is probably about probably like a minute and 13 seconds, maybe a minute and 15 seconds, and then after that, Crossbone comes up with this idea that it's better for me to kill myself, his helmet finally comes off. You get to see the exposure to his face. He's burned on half of his face. He looks just like Two-Face off of DC Comics. You know what I'm saying? The Batman, villain and stuff like that. He looks just like Two-Face. And then, he says, well, this time I'll get you or whatever, some kind of villainy shit. And then, one-liner. And then the explosion happens. He's trying to detonate himself, like a suicide bomber, kill himself and Captain America. Scarlet Witch comes up and she saves Captain America by using her power. Now, this is something that, you saw coming a mile away. And let me go ahead and go back to the beginning of the actual 15 minutes, the start of the movie, right after the Winter Soldier scene, where they show the Winter Soldier get activated, him going to get the case, etc., etc. Scarlet Witch says, I can use my powers to control things, right? And then we fast forward to where right before Captain America's about to die, and you're thinking to yourself, holy shit, Marvel, they're about to risk it all, man. No one's safe in this bitch. And then all of a sudden you said, no, that's impossible because this is called Civil War. We know that Robert Downey Jr. is in this movie sometime. He's going to pop up. We know that Captain America and Iron Man are supposed to be fighting. That's the whole reason we're here. So after that, it's just, there's really no, edge of your seat shit going on there. It's not. Scarlet Witch comes up. She uses her, magical spell shit, what I'm saying? And then she takes the explosion and Crossbones. She takes him and lifts him up in the air. I don't know what the fuck she was doing because I thought to myself, you could have just threw him straight upward, but she decided to, I don't know, let her wrist and shit, maybe her wrist got a little bit weak because she was typing fucking carpal tunnel syndrome or something, and then all of a sudden it ends up, she moves her hand the wrong way and the explosion with Crossbones and her powers or whatever go into this building, and I don't know, maybe let's say, I don't know, 70 to 80 people die at that moment because they're burned to death. It's almost like, just like with Batman v Superman, we had the 9/11 moment. This was Marvel's version of like 9/11 Part 2 because they had already done a 9/11 moment with the Avengers movie. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's whatever, man. That's just what they decided to do, and I guess once again, Marvel, they wanted to show how the hero reacts to that. So Scarlet Witch is sitting there with her mouth. You saw it in the trailer. She's sitting there with her mouth, and she has her hand over her mouth like, oh, what have I done? Bitch, you knew what you did because you're an idiot and you decided to flick your wrist or whatever. Or maybe you were weak or something like that. Didn't you fucking eat your goddamn Wheaties this morning? You knew you were coming out to battle, and I don't know what the hell happened. Don't even ask me. I don't know. It's just one of those funny scenes, man. But once again, it doesn't take away from the movie. It doesn't, add to the movie. It's just, what the fuck ever. That was just bullshit. But it's cool. Hey, at least the hero cares or whatever, what I'm saying? I mean, shit, accidents happened. Captain America didn't, he didn't say anything to her. So I don't know later on in the movie, when we get past the 15-minute mark, is he going to, scold her, or is he going to, he should have comforted her in that moment, what I'm saying? But instead, he remains silent for about a good, 3 to 8 seconds, and then after that, he pressed his little, earpiece and called Falcon to call in the ambulance and, fire and medics and all that stuff, to be concerned for the citizens of wherever the fuck they're at. But, it was kind of messed up because, Scarlet Witch is just sitting there devastated and shit. She just fucking had her first murder, and then Captain America, who's been through this shit, didn't say anything, Hey. It's fucking weird, man. But anyway, let me back up for a few seconds, man. The Purge, man, aka Crossbones, is the one that tells Captain America that Bucky is the one that started this whole thing, man. He got his orders from Bucky and all this other stuff, man. So it was really cool to see them, bring everything together. The first 15 minutes is solid. It's really, really, really great, man. not the best, stuff, because we've seen a lot of it, and I made a lot of fun of a lot of it. So, whenever I saw the scene where Captain America comes out the sky and hits the dude against the vehicle and then throws his shield and jumps up there and kicks that dude in the chest and kicks him against the wall, I had made fun of that whole entire scene, man. So the whole time I'm hearing that yakety music inside of my thing, I'm hearing that playing, and so I'm laughing and stuff, But it was a good, solid thing, man. I think that Marvel fans, well, I'm not gonna say Marvel fans. I think that Marvel Cinematic Universe fans will be happy with it, man. Just like we were happy with Batman v Superman and all the stuff that Zack Snyder did. I think that you guys will enjoy this, man. I really do. I'll finish watching this, and then after that, I'll come back with another one. This is the long version, and I'll probably have another one with a long version, just kind of talking about this, uncut, unedited, just to see, is talk about as much as I can, so I will make sure I don't miss anything, man. The next scene that follows after the 15 minutes, we get to see something that's really awesome, and I'm not going to spoil this one, man, but if you're a fan of Robert Downey Jr., the technology that they use to make this scene happen is just absolutely phenomenal, and you got to give your hats off to Marvel for the magic. You got to give your hats off to Disney for this magic, because you can tell that it was something that was actually probably brought up and created by Disney, man. I mean, there's no other way to put it, man. Us in the DC extended universe, we have, scenes with the Flash, we have Cyborg, and, we can go in and see Nightmare Batman and stuff like that. But what they were able to do with the technology inside of the character that they utilized it in with, Iron Man, aka, Tony Stark. Fascinating stuff, man, and I can't wait to see that scene. Now, right here, guys, that's it. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about Captain America Civil War, right here. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now, major spoilers. Today is May 3rd, 2016. It is about 12 p.m. Just finished watching the first 15 minutes of Captain America Civil War, and right now we're sitting at a 8.5 out of 10 star opening. Really, really great, man. Really solid stuff, and we're going to start from the beginning and work all the way back, man. The movie starts out with a lot of familiar stuff that we've seen from the trailers. So majority of the stuff that's in the trailers, besides the fight scene between Captain America and all the good stuff, airport scene and all that stuff, Black Panther, that stuff's not in the first 15 minutes, but majority of the stuff in the trailers is in the first 15 minutes. And it's done pretty nice, man, because you get to see how everything comes together. Because the trailer time, if you add them all together, I think it's like a total of like maybe 5 minutes, but the extra 10 minutes that's added on really brings some substance to that material, man. So here we go, man. The Winter Soldier is activated. He gets a mission. When he gets that mission, he goes and he has to, eliminate his target. He eliminates his target with a punch to the, I think it was left-hand side of the vehicle. The vehicle crashes on a dirt road. He goes to the trunk, opens it up, grabs this case. There's something in the case. I'm not going to spoil what's in the case because it's very important what's in the case. And then after that, we get to see that nice brand new Avengers team, man, which is the makeup of Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, Captain America, Falcon. They are on their first mission out in Africa somewhere, and they are trying to track down the Purge, aka Crossbones. So Crossbones and the original Thanos, aka Hero Merc #1, they are actually on a mission to kind of grasp and capture and locate this bioweapon, okay? And then, the Avengers, led by Captain America, Falcon, Scarlet Witch, and Black Widow, they're there to actually stop, Crossbones and Hero Merc #1 and the rest of the thugs. All right. What I love about this whole entire scene with them, #1, it's done really, really well. Meaning that they give you all the information that you need to know what's going to happen next. There really isn't any surprises, but it's okay, though. It's okay. And what I mean by that is that at the beginning of the episode, Scarlet Witch says something to Captain America. She says, "You know that I can use my powers, right?" Later on in the episode, or later on in the movie, the first 15 minutes, we get to see what she means when she says what she said right there to Captain America. And it's something that is very, very important, because that right there, solidifies her, I guess you could say her membership, her position inside of the Avengers, okay, as being a brand new Avenger, man. It's really, really awesome what they did there, and we'll talk about that in a second, okay? What I really, really enjoy about this movie so far, the first 15 minutes, is that what they do with Black Widow takes her character to another level, man. She is powerful as hell inside of here, and so is Scarlet Witch. All right, so Black Widow and Crossbones, they're on top of this Humvee. This is shortly after the scene where Captain America kicks that guy in the face, that soldier guy, after he gets gassed, okay? Scarlet Witch is able to take all that gas and throw it up into the air and kind of get it out of the way so that nobody, gets hurt. Falcon has a whole lot of different gadgets, and we'll talk about those really, really soon. Black Widow, she fights with Crossbones on top of this Jeep. There's an opening inside of the Jeep, like a hatch where a gunner can come out and return fire. She falls down, but before she falls down, and when I say falls down, she gets backhanded in the face and then she falls down. After she really, is beating Crossbones, but, he has an upgrade, and he says, I don't work like that anymore. And then he backhands her. What he's referring to, man, is Black Widow tried to, zap him with the electricity, the sticks or whatever. He was like, nah, that's not going to work anymore. I got something for you, baby girl. Backhand her, right in the face. Bow, She falls down. He grabs a grenade, throws it down inside of there, closes the hatch. And Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, she really, really fast. And she has like less than, I think, is between 6 to 8 seconds. And then as she reacts, and she grabs a guard after she beats him up, throws him on top. You don't see that, but then she gets blown out of the truck, and then you can kind of guess what happened inside of there because she's still alive. The rest of the people are dead. There's no guts or nothing like that, but you know exactly what happened, man. Black Widow, she survives that scene, and then after that, Crossbones comes up with this idea after him and the old Thanos, and when I say old Thanos, this is the original Thanos from the Avengers, the actual guy, Damian Porter, who is the first guy that was cast as Thanos, and then Marvel decided to recast him with some dude named Josh Brolin, because he can probably bring in a little bit more, income to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thanos was originally black, and then they cast him with Josh Brolin because that's just how it is in Hollywood right now. But we're not going to talk about that. All right, Crossbones and Thanos, they come up with this idea, okay, after they steal this biological weapon, Captain America, he after he gets done fighting those guards upstairs, he goes over and he sees that there's this vial missing, that he was trying to protect them from. And he notifies, the team that the biological weapon is missing. Crossbones and Thanos, aka Hero Merc #1, they decide to break up and do a decoy mission to kind of, trick up and confuse the Avengers, man. But they don't fall for it. Captain America goes after their Crossbones. Black Widow, she goes after Hero Merc #1. Falcon goes after another one, and Scarlet Witch goes after another one. And then after that, they come together in a nice little, how do you want to say, a little fight montage, man. Black Widow, she has Hero Merc #1 cornered. Hero Merc threatens to drop the vial. He says, stop, drop your gun or I'll drop this vial and kill everybody in sight. Falcon comes with this brand new device. There's this little, how do you want to say it? A little droid, okay, or drone. And this little drone is actually, utilized inside of the beginning of the movie, and shows whenever Falcon is on top of that building looking over, the city or whatever, he uses the drone to scan this truck, and that lets them know exactly, where Crossbones is at, and that's what, leads them to the location where the biological weapon is. And then, he sees that, Black Widow is in a pretty tough spot because she had to drop her weapon. She's about to be killed. He comes down with the little drone, and then he shoots Hero Merc #1, kills him or whatever. And then, the vial drops. Black Widow, she catches it real quick, and then they're communicating each other, via their, earpiece or whatever. And then he said, "You're not going to say thank you?" And then she's like, "No, I'm not going to say thank you." And he's like, you can talk to it or whatever. And she's like, "I'm not going to talk to this, whatever this thing is." He's like, "It's called Red Wing." So that was Marvel's response, I think, to fans, to give Falcon a toy or a creature. He's supposed to originally have a bird with him and communicate with birds and stuff, but they're not probably going to go that way. So they gave him, the next best thing, and that is the drone. And then that drone is actually called Red Wing. So yeah. Black well, not Black Widow, Captain America, as he is, about to split up and try to find these groups. There's definitely decoy groups. He gives the order to kind of downgrade and try to blend in or whatever. He throws his shield up in the air. I think from what I saw, his shield explodes, and then after his shield explodes, he's able to, walk about in the crowd and not be, I guess identified or whatever. I don't know the reason for it, but as soon as he does that, Crossbones comes, punches him in the back, flings him a couple of miles or a couple of feet away, man. Like, he punches him so hard that Captain America, it's kind of strange to see him like that, but he's like vulnerable as hell, and he gets punched and he flies across this cafe on the ground. Then he gets back up, they start fighting. It's really violent fight sequences. They're really good. They're really really well thought out fight sequences. Long story short, Captain America gets the advantage over Crossbones. He's about to kill Crossbones. Crossbones pulls off his mask or whatever after he's hit and beat up, and then Captain America sees the events of Captain America the Winter Soldier, and he sees how Crossbones' face is all burned up and stuff, and whenever he's about to kill him, Crossbones tells him that, Bucky's the one that gave the order or whatever, and then he's like, Bucky? And then Crossbones, as he has, Captain America on this emotional side, he pulls out this device that lets you know that he has a suicide vest on. He's about to blow up Captain America. It's about to be, the end of a legacy, an end of an era, and then all of a sudden the Scarlet Witch comes around the corner. She saves Captain America. She grabs him, using her powers, her pink powers, her pink magical bubble powers and stuff, and her pink magical I can control things with my mind powers, and then she elevates Crossbone up in the air, and something goes wrong. And I don't know, for me, I saw that her wrist kind of moved around or whatever, and then that sends Crossbones and the explosion and all of the, power and all of the impact into a building, and then that building explodes just from like the top corner, you know what I'm saying, which didn't really make any sense. It was like a couple of levels, maybe like 4 or 5, maybe 6 floors were blown out, and then she's devastated, man. Captain America doesn't console her. He doesn't say anything to her at all. It was like one of those moments where he's just like, oh God, man, not again, It's probably like, he's had too much at that moment, and he probably couldn't give her any sort of advice or whatever. She's devastated. She puts her mouth over her hand, her hand over her mouth, and just, is kind of like in tears and very upset, man, at what she done. But we don't understand, or we don't know what's going to happen, because, the scene switches over to Tony Stark's scene, and so we don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully later, Captain America sits down and talks to her. The reason why I couldn't give the actual episode or the actual first 15 minutes of Captain America Civil War a actual 10 out of 10 star rating is because there was a lot of ridiculous stuff that happened. Nothing that takes away from the movie, but it's just, certain things, like the grenade scene with Black Widow, that's bullshit. Black Widow starts riding on this motorcycle for no apparent reason, just to ride it because it looks cool or whatever. I was like, that's bullshit. Captain America, Captain America not getting any sort of damage. It's not good. I mean, I understand who he is and whatever, but come on, man, we could do a little bit better than that. And then lastly, the Black Widow scene where she catches the bioweapon, the biological weapon, by doing the flip. It was just ludicrous, man. The vial would have hit the ground. And then obviously we're talking about the last is the grenade scene inside of the van or the truck. There's just no way that she would have been blown out of the van with that much force over a little tiny grenade. And it wasn't like some upgraded grenade. It was an old ass antique grenade. There's just no reason. And those grenades don't have that much power, man. You wouldn't have even blown up the vehicle, and we've seen that happen before. But anyway, it's just, I'm a military guy, I'm a veteran, man, so, we don't fall for that stuff, man. But that's okay. But it doesn't take away from anything, man. It's still a solid movie. I hope you guys get a chance to see it. It's right now, I recommend it, man. I really do. It's the first 15 minutes. I highly recommend it. It's something that should be seen, man. And the stuff that's inside the case that Bucky is going after, the red notebook at the beginning of the movie, the actual introduction for the Captain America Civil War, it looks really, really cool. I mean, there's a lot of different things, man, different factors that I would let you guys, I guess you can say, talk about, and just, you have to see for yourself, man. It's really, really cool. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's enough time, man. I'm out of here. I kind of went over my 10-minute mark, but that's okay. I'm out of here. That's it. Hey, let me know what you guys think about Captain America Civil War in the comments, and look up for the giveaway that we're going to be doing for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I'm giving away a lot of my collection because I don't collect that stuff anymore. So, yep, let me know in the comments, and yeah, we'll choose the winner shortly, rather. If you haven't had opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now. Major spoilers, here we go. We're talking about the next 5 minutes after the first 15 minutes, okay? And it's a little bit less than 5 minutes, but I had to stop, man, watching this thing, man, and actually just, man, it's really hard. As you can hear me, as you can hear my voice, I'm really excited about this, man, okay? So here's what happened, man. Number one, Disney has magic, man. This is this is some of the best CGI, the best 3D. This is it's crazy. It's fascinating as hell, man, what they're able to do with this, man. Okay, you have a young Robert Downey Jr. and an old Robert Downey Jr. on the screen at the same time, for just a moment, maybe I'd say 3 to 7 seconds, maybe even 5 to 10 seconds, and then after that, it vanishes, okay? Robert Downey Jr., a.k.a. Tony Stark, a.k.a. Iron Man, he is on the stage at a university giving a speech about, the future and things to come and invention and technology, okay? And he has this scene where you see a young Robert Downey Jr., a young Iron Man, a young Tony Stark that is with his father and mother, and he's in this scene with them talking. And this is before an incident that would later, take their life, and they would die from it. And I guess you can say one of the things that he regrets in his life, and he was able to, use it as a point of inspiration for this speech that he gave. After he's finished with this speech, and he awards the entire audience, which is probably, I'd say, maybe 50 to 150 people, 150 students, he gives all of them, money. He gives all of them grants and scholarships, and he also funds all of their projects. So, you're looking at, let's call it $1 billion, $1 million, or whatever. He's giving out, it's a ridiculous amount of money, man, And at that moment, he's at the height, it seems like, of his speech. He looks like Iron Man. He feels like Tony Stark. He's back to being Tony Stark. And then all of a sudden, the teleprompter says, and now introducing Pepper Potts or whatever. And as soon as he sees the mention of Pepper Potts, he starts to back and retreat into himself, and he doesn't seem like himself anymore, man. He seems like that, almost like I guess you can say, like the Iron Man 3. He's not Tony Stark. He almost seems like a little bit of the Age of Ultron Tony Stark also. But he leaves the stage because Pepper Potts is not there. His aides and stuff like that, apologize for, the teleprompter, and he's walking away. And at this moment, I think he feels vulnerable because he walks up to this elevator. There's this lady standing there. She's a black lady. You will recognize her if you watch The Conjuring Part 2. You will recognize her from, I believe it was Scandal. She's been on thousands of different shows, man, and movies, man. Just, you'll know her as soon as you see her, okay? And she's waiting for the elevator. The elevator button is not being pushed, okay? There's no light indication. She's just waiting in the hall, I guess, to, I don't know, for whatever reason. She has something in her hand. She starts reaching for it, and then Tony Stark grabs her hand, and then she's like, I work for the Secret Service, or, work for the government or whatever. You have no reason to, fear me or threaten me or whatever. And then, he lets go of her hand, and he just kind of listens there. He presses the elevator button to go down or whatever to activate it, and then all of a sudden as he's kind of like not, I guess, anticipating what's going to happen next and just kind of listening to her, she reaches in her purse or whatever, grabs out something and slams it against Stark's chest, man. Just like that. She slams against his chest, and he's kind of taken at a moment. At first I thought, she stabbed him, he's dead, he's gone, but then I paused for a second. I was like, okay, listen, this is Captain America's Civil War. This isn't, nothing's at risk. There's nothing at risk at this moment, okay? Because we know we have to see Captain America, and we have to see, Iron Man fight, okay? So nothing's at risk, all right? So anyway, this is what she says. she says, with her hand on Tony Stark's chest, she's like, his name was Charlie Spencer, and you killed him in Sokovia. Okay, so now we have a tie-in between Captain America: Civil War and Captain America and Avengers: Age of Ultron. Okay, the events that happened in Sokovia, a lot of people died, and those answers. We still need answers for that, because of all that stuff that happened. All right, and she says, "You think you fight for us? You fight for yourself. Who's going to avenge my son, Stark? He's dead, and I blame you." And then she gets in the elevator and she walks off, and goes off into the distance. And Tony Stark is just left there like, fuck. His facial expression in that moment was like the lowest point in his life, because he knows that she's telling the truth. The collateral damage in the Avengers, the collateral damage inside of Age of Ultron, the collateral damage in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe has grown tremendously, and every single movie has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, more death, more destruction. Okay, and that's part of this universe, and I guess you could say the reality that there are more threats out there. There are more superheroes, metahumans, whatever you want to call them. It's real, and that's just part of it, man. So now we understand, this is what affects Tony Stark, and this is what gets him thinking about building all this stuff that we've seen in the trailers. Okay, that something to hold and house, these Avengers, something to hold them accountable to, and if things get out of control, we can stop them if need be. All right, so yeah, that's it, guys. We're out of here. The next scene that happens, and that starts around the 18-minute mark, we get the first mention of how Black Panther comes into the Avengers universe, man, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely 100%. I was in tears, man, when I first heard it. Okay, so that's all I got to say, man. But we'll come back and we'll talk about that too, man. We're out here, guys. Comment and let me know what you thought about Captain America: Civil War, man. You can post whatever you want, guys. I really don't care about the MCU. Not like that. Don't take offense to it, but that's just Marvel Cinematic Universe is not mine. I don't really have any feelings for it. Hopefully, after I watch this movie, I will be feeling a little bit differently about Captain America: Civil War. We'll see what happens, man. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. And that's it. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America: Civil War, stop listening now. Major spoilers. Here we go. This is the 18-minute mark all the way to the 24-minute mark. Wow. First off, this is crazy, man. It's hard to love the Marvel Cinematic Universe after Phase 2. Okay, meaning that from the end of Phase 1 all the way through Phase 2 was horrible, okay? I did not like Phase 2, but I said to myself, I need Phase 3 to be something that is immaculate, okay? It needs to take the Marvel Cinematic Universe and just improve upon it just a little bit, just to get it back to the basics, which was the Phase 1, which was great. And I think as of right now, 24 minutes into Captain America: Civil War, we're doing really, really good, man, okay? I'm not saying I'm going to go out there and buy any more banners and standees. I'm not going to buy it on Blu-ray. I'm not going to buy it on DVD. I'm not going to buy the music or the official soundtrack. I'm not going to buy any shirts. I'm not going to do any of that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to talk about this movie and any movie that comes after Captain America: Civil War and say that it's good, okay? As of right now. So here we go. 18 to 24 minutes in, okay? It says 11 Wakandans killed in Lagos, Nigeria, okay? That's the situation that I was talking about inside of my first podcast review, and that was the first 15 minutes of Captain America: Civil War. And we talked about what happened with Scarlet Witch, where she could not control the force, the power of the explosion that happened with Crossbones, and that's what led to, the Crossbones body and explosion going into the building and blowing up that building. I said it was about maybe 6 to 8 floors, and I was correct in that, but 11 people killed. Nah, I don't believe that at all, man. But that's okay. That's fine. I mean, that just connects our world, the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Black Panther. Okay, and we got a first time to see our first, I guess you could say, appearance of the king of Wakanda, and that is Black Panther's father. Okay, I really like what he was saying, man. He says, his Wakandan people were not killed by criminals, but they were killed by those who want to fight or who were brought up or volunteered to fight against it. And I love how he said that, because he's not calling the Avengers criminals. He's not calling them bad guys. It's just, I guess you can say it's just by people that, I guess, are maybe running a little too much unsupervised, and that's where we're sitting at right now. Okay, so I was talking about how, whenever Scarlet Witch made that mistake, Captain America didn't get an opportunity to actually talk to her and comfort her, and he actually did this, man. And it didn't last that long, because Vision walks through Scarlet Witch's bedroom. He walks through the wall, okay, and interrupts the conversation, man. But Captain America does sit down and he comforts her, and I was correct when I said that, as soon as he heard the word Bucky, he was just distracted, and that's why he almost got killed by Crossbones. And that's what he said. He said, as soon as I heard the name Bucky, I felt like a 16-year-old kid again. And that was really powerful, because that goes back and once again connects the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, because we watched that before, and that is Captain America, the First Avenger. Okay, and also Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Those moments whenever Bucky and him come together, there's something happens inside of Captain America's demeanor. It changes, and he either reflects back on the past with some nostalgia, man, or he just either gets angry, and that's where we're sitting at right now. Okay. Vision, he walked through the bedroom wall, and he says, Scarlet Witch says to Vision, she says, Vision, didn't she says, Vision, we talked about this before. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize, I forgot about the door or whatever, and then I started laughing, because it was pretty funny, man. I would have loved to get a little bit more of Captain America and Scarlet Witch, and seeing how, him as a leader, sits down and talks to his people, his soldiers, man. I'd love to see more about that, but they interrupted it with a joke, and that's fine, because right after, Vision came in, he came in there for a reason and a purpose, and that was to let him know that Tony Stark and War Machine have arrived, and the Secretary of State has arrived with Tony Stark for some reason, and it's very, very interesting to see what's going to happen. It gets real serious, man, after that moment, man, and that's why, the Vision joke happened, because that's going to allow us a chance to kind of, relax in our seats and not be on our edge. And then all of a sudden, man, we go into that familiar scene where we saw inside of the trailer, and that is the situation where the Secretary of State and Tony Stark and all the Avengers, War Machine, Vision, Black Widow, Falcon, they're all inside of that room, and they're being briefed, man, about the situation. Okay, I thought this was Tony Stark leading this and having the Secretary make the Avengers just feel bad about everything that's happened, but this is being led by the UN. Okay, so it's a vigilante speech is what he's giving, and he's pretty much just talking about these enhanced individuals, and that's what he says inside of there. He says these enhanced individuals with unlimited power and no supervision. We cannot have that. So the solution to that is this Sokovia Accordance, and that means that the Avengers are no longer going to be privately owned. They are operated. They're going to be publicly owned and operated, being operated by a UN panel and controlled by the UN panel. And then the reason I guess you can say that this is important is because Captain America's like, why are we going to do this or whatever? And Black Widow asks the same exact question. And then his response was, the Secretary of State, he says, where are Thor and Banner located right now? And no one can give an answer. And then his response to that, with them, just remaining silent, he said, if I had no idea where my 30-pound nuke was located, I'd be a little worried. And then before he walks out, Black Widow says, and if we refuse, then the Secretary of State, he says, you will retire. Whenever all this is going on, the entire team seems to look at Captain America for leadership. Captain America sees that Scarlet Witch is troubled by the scene with Sokovia and by the scene inside of the Lagos, Nigeria. She wasn't really emotional when she saw Sokovia, so it had nothing to do with Quicksilver. It had everything to do with the 11 Wakandans that were killed. So as soon as she saw that scene replay again on television via the briefing that was given by the Secretary of State, she immediately became emotionally distressed because of that scene. It had nothing to do with her brother or Quicksilver and all that stuff. And, it's almost as if he's forgotten as of right now, but that's okay. It's probably because of business and Fox and all that other stuff. But Captain America was like, that's enough, turn it off. Captain America always, after everyone's looking at Captain America for guidance and leadership, and he gives that back, he always looks towards Tony Stark for a reaction or for him to say something or stand up. Tony Stark keeps his head down and does not make eye contact with Captain America. Very, very fascinating stuff. We'll see what happens, man. We're going to continue on. But it's very, very crazy to hear that the Secretary of State said, you have no option in this. You will either work with the UN panel or you retire. You're done. So we'll see what happens, guys. Anyway, comment, man. Let me know what you thought about Captain America Civil War. That's okay. You can post spoilers. That's fine with that. I'm out of here. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now, major spoilers. Here we go. Okay, this is crazy, man. What they're able to do with this is they have broken down this movie, man, into little bitty sections, usually between 3 to 5 minutes, sometimes 15, sometimes 12. But right now we're talking about from the 24-minute mark to about the 27-minute mark. That's where you'll get a new story, man. Okay, so you're in Cleveland. You have this room that is a hotel room, house, whatever you want to call it. It's a room inside of a building, and the building is definitely secure via the bolts and nuts and all the stuff that is on the door, the actual door to get inside of this location. You see this figure on the outside of the door through the blinds, and he says, "Hey, is this your car?" I jumped the curb. I was thinking that we can handle this together and settle this together, or we can just get the cops involved. The guy that's inside and secured inside this location says, no cops. And you can recognize that he is Russian, okay? I think that you'll be able to recognize him from the beginning of the film. It just depends on if you're paying attention to that. Who knows? Whatever. It doesn't matter. The guy with the secured room, he opens the door and lets that stranger in. And then after that, he's immediately knocked out, okay? You see this stranger guy, this brand new character. He has a sledgehammer. He's hitting it into the wall. The wall has something inside of it. It looks like a case. He takes the case out, opens it up, and then you see something very familiar from the beginning of the movie. And the beginning of the movie showed you a red notebook, and that was the activation of the Winter Soldier, and what I believe is the targets that are inside of there, or maybe some more information that are inside of there. We find out that this guy, his name is Zemo, and he is looking only for mission report, December 16th, 1991. Mission report, December 16th, 1991. I'm pretty sure that's not how his voice sounded, but that's the only thing I can think of to replicate the Russian accent. He was like, mission report, December 16th, 1991. And he immediately recognizes the figure, the guy that was in there, and he has the guy upside down waterboarding him. Usually with waterboard, you just put the towel over, you pour it. He's doing this upside down, blood going to the head, rushing to the brain, and also, submerging you inside of water. And it's just on the tip of your head, and if you don't answer his questions, just like this guy didn't, this colonel, who is a S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent, he turns the water on and he kills this guy violently, man. It is waterboarding, it is death. You can see it on screen, they show it, they don't really care, man. We find out that Zemo got this information. He knew how to locate all these people because of Black Widow. Black Widow released files when S.H.I.E.L.D. had fallen. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to see how, once again, man, this cinematic universe is connected through every single one of these scenes, man. So that's it, man. That's a quick little thing I just wanted to talk about. This Zemo character is very terrifying. As of right now, I put him at the top of the list as far as after phase 2 villains. And the reason why is because phase 2 villains, nothing happened. They were horrible. Even what you call it, Ultron. So yeah, he's at the top as of right now. He's very intimidating. And you can kind of see why Crossbones wasn't, what Crossbones was supposed to be. But once again, we don't know what's going to happen because we still haven't seen Captain America and Iron Man fight, so we got to get there first, man. Right here, guys, that's it. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now, major spoilers, here we go. This is the reason why we're having division among the Avengers, okay? And it all comes from a speech given by Vision after the Secretary of State leaves. It's pretty powerful, man. I love the banter between Falcon and War Machine, just them going back and forth, trying to, I guess you can say, grasp the concept and the reality of this situation that they're facing, man. Falcon, he says to War Machine, he says, how much longer are you going to play both sides? I thought in the trailer that, that was said to, somebody else said to Tony Stark or something, but it was Falcon saying that to War Machine. Really, really awesome, man. Let me read this causality speech, man, from Vision. He says, our very strength invites challenge incites conflict breeds catastrophe. Oversight is not an idea that cannot be. Oversight is an idea that cannot be dismissed out of hand. And what I really liked about that, man, is Vision is not. Vision is not. He's not human. He's an android. But he has all of the information that Jarvis had. He has everything that Tony Stark put into him. And his understanding mixed with, what Ultron, had, it's like completely, totally polar opposites of what Ultron was. And just to see how much information he has and possesses, it's crazy. But he's sitting there saying this inside of a sweater. Okay, so he looks like Bill Cosby to me. It's really, really awesome, man. But yeah, let's get into it, man. So after they leave, and this goes from the 27-minute mark all the way to the 31-minute mark. Okay, this is what we're talking about. I'm sorry I didn't say that at the beginning of this. But during this time, you just have literally the Avengers just going back and forth and getting all those ideas out there. Okay, here's a couple of quotes, man. Tony Stark, he actually didn't speak at all when everybody was arguing, man. And then after that, Black Widow's the one that she says, Tony, are you going to sit there and not act like yourself or whatever? And then he finally gets up and we get some information that we needed. And once again, it goes back from the previous scene. The previous scene goes forward. There's one scene which tells a story. A new scene is introduced. The next scene clarifies the story that was previously told. Okay, so Tony Stark gets up and he shows this picture on this little futuristic thing. He shows this picture of Charlie Spencer, and then he tells everyone. He says Charlie Spencer was in Sokovia. He could have went anywhere else in the world, but he decided to go to Sokovia to help low income to help build low income / affordable housing units for the poor in that country. And he could have went anywhere else in the world, but he went there and we killed him. Okay, and then that is the reason why. That is the idea behind the concept of Tony Stark agreeing with anything. That's why he said, I'm game for this, any shape, form, or fashion to stop all this killing. Okay, and the Charlie Spencer had so much potential. The grades were there. He had a lot of ideas. He can see that he was helping out the poor people and stuff. Really just broke Tony Stark down, man, inside of here. So that's what he's going for. They give this idea, that it's the UN. The UN is nothing like Hydra. It's nothing bad. It's something that's good. It's not Shield, And then Captain America comes back and he says, yeah, but it's run by people with agendas. Agendas change, and whenever we decide to just go along with this Let me make sure that I get the actual name, because I make sure that I wrote that name down, and I want to make sure that I repeat it to you guys. If we go with this, here we go. Not right there. Give me 1 second. You're into control. Sokovia Accordance. If we go with this as Sokovia Accordance, then we lose we lose our right to choose. That's what Captain America says. And then Black Widow surprisingly was agreeing with Tony Stark, which kind of, I think, threw Captain America off. It threw Falcon off and a couple other people. Tony Stark comes up with this idea. He says, if we don't do anything now, it will happen later. He said, I can almost positively guarantee you that it'll happen. And then Scarlet Witch says, so they're going to come for me? And then Vision, says to Scarlet Witch to reassure her, he says, we'll protect you no matter what. And then Scarlet Witch immediately says, I'm with Tony. So, we start seeing, how sides are now being formed. Captain America hasn't made a decision, but obviously he's against Iron Man, and Tony Stark is on his own team. Black Widow right now is sitting in the middle. Falcon is with Captain America. War Machine is with Iron Man. Scarlet Witch is with Iron Man. Vision is with Iron Man. So right now you just have Falcon, Captain America, and then you have Black Widow right in the middle, man. We'll see what happens, man, as time goes on. Captain America gets a text. And then after that, it kind of looks like he's a little bit distraught and just out of it. So he leaves. He's like, I'm out of here, guys. I got to go. And then he takes off. And then right at the 31-minute mark, which ends that scene, we get to see that it is a funeral for someone. And we'll see what happens with that later on, guys. We're out of here, guys. Let me know what you think about Captain America and this whole entire scene and all that good stuff, man. And we're almost done with the movie, man. The movie runs about 2 hours and 17 minutes, man. So it's going to take a little while, man. But we'll see what happens. Right. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now, major spoilers, here we go. We are talking about the 31 to 34 minute mark in Captain America Civil War. This was in London, and we get to see a scene that just broke me down emotionally, man. I knew it was going to happen. I knew that certain chapters of the Marvel Cinematic Universe had to be closed. And with the situation that's going on with ABC not wanting to renew this certain show for season 3, I was like, okay, well, they're probably going to kill her off. And, I mean, obviously, she died of old age. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing that she can do. Captain America was frozen in ice. And then Peggy had to go and live her life. She had more missions to do. She had more things to do with S.H.I.E.L.D. She had to create a lot of things. She had to go and do missions and fall in love and live her life, and be empowered as a very strong female character. But I just didn't see it coming, man. Did not see it coming, okay? I'm not going to ruin this. I don't want to ruin at all what happens in this scene, because I was in tears. I enjoyed the tears. Not wanting to really cry, man, but it just broke me down. I was like, oh my gosh, man, just, take my life, Like, but who gives this speech inside of this scene? Once again, it ties in Captain America, the Winter Soldier. It ties in Captain America, the First Avenger. It ties in everything that you've seen from Agent Carter, seasons 1 and 2. And it's beautiful. And it's literally from 31 minutes into 34 minutes and some change. That's what they have, and it's beautifully done, man. Let me read this this quote, man. Compromise where you can, where you can't, don't. Even if everyone is telling you that something wrong is something right. Even if the whole world is telling you to move, it is your duty to plant yourself like a tree, look them in the eyes, and say, no, you move. And I think that at that moment, that's exactly what Captain America needed to hear. And it was really awesome to see that Falcon and Black Widow were there to be with him, man, during this moment of extreme pain and extreme suffering, man. At the end of the scene, after the funeral, we're still inside the church. Captain America's just sitting there, reminiscing and thinking and, pondering thoughts and crying tears. Black Widow arrives, and then she lets Captain America know, via an update, where she's going. Tony War Machine and Vision are now officially locked in as being on the same team and the same side. One Avenger has retired and one is undecided, and then he lets Black Widow know. He says, "I'm sorry, I just can't sign it." And then she says, "I know. I didn't want you to be alone." After he asks, well, "Why are you here? If you already knew I was going to sign it, why are you here?" She says, "I don't want you to be alone." And then they hug each other, and then the scene ends, and then we go over to a different scene. Looks like in Vienna. Really powerful scene, man. Emotional scene. Recommend bringing some tissue. And if you're a fan of Agent Carter, it's really good to see that character on screen again. And I don't understand why ABC doesn't want to renew the show, but hey, at least we got one last moment, I guess you can say, with her and got closure ourselves, man. As of this moment right now, as of February, May 3rd, 2016 at 1:33 p.m., I'm going to say that Agent Carter is not going to come back. That's just my guess as of right now, because the way that they wrap this thing up, if she comes back, I don't know what they're going to do with the new season after the events inside of this movie and going forward, and especially about the events after the events of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, who knows what they're going to do? No one knows. But I would love to see her come back, but I highly doubt they're going to do it. I think they're just wrapping up stuff, guys. I really do. The way that they wrote this script and everything, the way it flows, they're wrapping stuff up, man. Something bad is going to happen at the end of this movie. That's all I know for sure right now. It's crazy. But anyway, guys, we're out of here. Let me know what you think about Captain America Civil War. We're out of here. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now. Major spoilers. Here we go. This is from the 34-minute mark to the 40-minute mark. We are in Vienna. We are at a UN nation, and this is the first time that we get to see Black Panther. Black Panther is out on a balcony. This is before Black Panther is actually in the Black Panther suit. He is just T'Challa. And he is just, I guess you can say, representing his country of Wakanda at the UN. And his father, T'Chaka, is actually going to give a speech. There's a moment, man, where I believe that the king of Wakanda touches his son's face for the final time, and I think that he knows this. There's something about this moment that was deep. It was passionate, and you're already in tears because you just saw, the funeral of Agent Carter. Okay, so you attended the funeral. You attended the movie, didn't know there was going to be a funeral, and now you're in tears. And then all of a sudden, you come to this moment, and then there's an explosion after the King of Wakanda begins to give his speech, and the speech is ending. He thanks the Avengers, and then boom, a detonation happens right outside of the UN. There are 70 people killed. One is included, and that is T'Chaka, Black Panther's father. And man, it's so emotional because Black Panther, the last moment is that he has with his father is that he's running to yell, "Father, get down, get out of the way!" And then boom, he gets hit by the explosion. His father's hit from his back. T'Challa, man, is hit from the side and then falls on the ground, but he's able to just hold his father in that last moment, man. His father's dead. His father dies in his arms, and it sucks, dude. It sucks. It sucks. It 100% sucks, man. And I understand now, why Black Panther is chasing, Bucky, man. And he's responsible for it, so. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now, major spoilers. Here we go. This is from the 34-minute mark all the way to the 40-minute mark. This is the introduction of Black Panther inside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. T'Challa. These are the members of Wakanda. T'Chaka is the king of Wakanda. T'Challa is the... is Black Panther, I guess you could say. I don't want to do it like that. That sucks. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America the Civil... Okay, so I got interrupted because of the phone call, man, but we're back, man. So we know why Black Panther is chasing Bucky now, and here's the reason why. Okay, the news reports that 70 people were dead via a UN explosion. Okay, the king of Wakanda, T'Chaka, is actually killed, and the person responsible is the Winter Soldier. They put his face. There's really literally no reason or way to deny it, man. Bucky was actually seen on the CCTV camera in Vienna, and it was captured. Either someone is faking it, or it's actually Bucky Barnes killing people, okay? So here's what Black Panther had to say, all right? And I love this sequence, man. It's really, really cool, okay? Black Widow comes up to Black Panther. Black Panther's sitting on a bench. She comes up to the next, I guess you can say the bench right next to his, and then she sits down and she says, "I'm very sorry." Black Panther turns and he looks towards Black Widow. He's holding this ring and he's kind of turned it inside of his hands. I believe that it either belonged to his father, because I think whenever you look at the scene where T'Chaka is placing his hand on his son's face, T'Challa, you can see the ring. Okay, so he says, "In my culture, death is not the end. It is more of a stepping off point. Reaching out with both hands and bust. Checkmate. They lead you into the green veil to hell." He either says hell or help or something else. I can't really figure out what he's saying there. And then he says you can. Then he says run forever. And then after that, Black Widow says, "Sounds very peaceful." Black Panther replies with, "My father thought so. I am not my father." And then Black Widow says, "T'Challa, the task force will decide who brings in Barnes." And then Black Panther replies, "No, Miss whatever the fuck her name is, however you fucking pronounce it, I'll kill him myself," all right? So I think he says Ramanos, whatever her last name is, I don't know. "No, Black Widow, I'll kill him myself," okay? And then he walks off, and then Captain America calls Black Widow, and I'm not going to talk about that scene because that's another story. Remember what I was telling you, if you're watching this movie, okay, the first 15 minutes is a story. 16 through 17 minutes is a new story. 18 through 24 minutes we'll talk about the first 15 minutes of the movie, and then the 24 and the 27 minutes we'll talk about the 16 through the 17 minutes of the movie. And then after that, the 31 through the 34 minutes is like new, and then the 34 through the 40 minutes is a brand new story, and then after the next chapter will close up, and then that's how they go. It's really, really, really well done, man. Right now we're still sitting at we're not still sitting at 8.5. We have elevated from an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10 star movie. I'm just being real, just being honest, man. There really isn't any scenes that have come up right now that have made me, say, "Oh my God, here we go, Marvel with this bullshit." It's been good, there hasn't been a lot of jokes. I think I've counted 5 or 6 jokes, and that's been about it, man, compared to the 15 to 20 per movie that I've seen in the past. This is really good stuff, man. Not bad. Everything's going pretty smooth, man. We are 40 minutes into it, and we're going to continue on, guys. Let me know what you think about that in the comment description and all that stuff right here. Hey, if you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America, what the fuck? If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now. Major spoilers, here we go. Oh, man. Let's talk about the good. We're talking about right now the 40-minute mark to the 51-minute mark of Captain America Civil War. The good thing is that the relationship and the interaction between Captain America, Bucky, Falcon, Black Panther, and War Machine, it was really great. Okay, the script was great, the acting was great, but what fails is the CGI, man. From the 40-minute mark to the 51-minute mark, it's horrible CGI, and it's also a advertisement for a vehicle. I think it's an Audi this time, okay? And this is the same thing I did with Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Same exact thing. As soon as I saw that goddamn Jeep sequence inside of the beginning of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, I shot that damn movie down to 7.5 out of 10 stars, and nothing changes here, okay? We went from a 9.5 out of 10 star from the 34-minute mark to the 40-minute mark, and then from the 40-minute mark to the 51-minute mark, we're down to a 7.5 out of 10 star, and that's the only reason why. Bad CGI and literally a Audi Jeep commercial, SUV commercial, whatever the hell you want to call it. It was bad, man. It was really, really bad, and I don't understand why they did that. They could have just spent maybe, I don't know, $20 million more or something like that, or maybe even 15 million on just a little bit more quality of CGI, man. Black Panther was gray at one point. And there's no reason he should be gray. His suit is black and silver. I mean, I don't understand why it went gray. There wasn't any shadows. There wasn't even, more light. There's no really way to explain it. It was just really bad, man. As far as what they're doing with Black Panther, I do like that, man. I didn't like so much with the flicking of the wrist to bring out the claws and all that stuff, But the way that they did it, I mean, it's kind of cool. It's his first suit. The first time that we've seen him in here, they actually took off his helmet. They did some really, really great stuff, man. And so I can't really complain about that, man. I love Bucky's arm. Sometimes the arm just looks really, really fake, man, but he's a little bit more powerful this time around. Falcon, the same thing. His wings and stuff, they look good, man. But whenever Black Panther jumped on the back of Falcon, it was like, what the hell, dude? It looks so bad, man. But anyway, let's go ahead and start and tell you guys exactly what happened, man. So Captain America calls up Black Widow. He tells Black Widow that he's going after Bucky. She lets him know that if Captain America, if you do this, Steve, we're going to have to arrest you, okay? He says the reason why he's doing that is because he said, I'm the only least likely to, I'm the only one that's least likely to die trying if I go after Bucky Barnes, man. Someone helps him get the information of where Bucky is located. Not going to tell you who, because that is like one of the greatest, I guess you can say, cameos, appearances by a Marvel Cinematic Universe character that I've ever seen, so I'm not going to spoil that. But you can in the description box if you know exactly who it is. I mean, hopefully you do. Then all of a sudden, the next scene that happens is we see Zemo. He's actually inside of looks like a hotel room. He has something mysterious inside of his closet. Someone knocks on the door. He's actually reading this red book. Once again, going back to the beginning of the movie, tying in everything really perfectly with the Winter Soldier and Bucky and everything like that, and the Russians and et cetera, et cetera. I don't know what's in the closet. We'll probably find out about it after the 51-minute mark is over with, because it seems, like I said before, that these chapters or sections in the movie are broken up in little scenes, man, little tiny scenes, man. It's kind of fascinating how they're telling the story, okay? Then the next scene is in Bucharest, which is in Romania. We see Bucky. He's out on the streets. He's trying to, get some food and then head back home. Someone notices him. It's a newspaper stand guy, and then we find out that Bucky's face is plastered all over the front page of this local Romanian Bucharest newspaper, and Bucky's now wanted. He's a wanted man. So Bucky returns home. Before he returns home, Captain America arrives at Bucky's apartment and starts going through, looking at some stuff, and you'll start noticing some things, from Captain America: The Winter Soldier, things that, Cap and him understand about each other, and then he says, okay, I'm definitely in the right spot. Falcon is communicating with Captain America. He's letting him know that there's a breach team coming. When Captain America, confirms and says, hey, it's okay, I'll be ready whenever they come or whatever, Bucky is standing behind Captain America. And this was really cool, man, because Captain America: The Winter Soldier, whenever Bucky and Captain America went against each other or they saw each other, they were literally at arms, you know what I'm saying? Because that was what, the Winter Soldier was about. He was a killing machine, but he's more composed. He's not a killer anymore, He stood there and he was like, Captain America asked Bucky, said, do you remember me? Do you know me? Do you recognize me? And he says, yeah, I do. He said, but, you shouldn't be here. Whatever you're doing, whatever you think this isn't the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to definitely leave. And then he says, the people that are coming to hurt you and kill you, we're going to we're gonna have to do something, man. He said, I know you're afraid right now, I know you're feeling scared. He said, but come with me, man. We can survive this, man, if this is what you want to do. And then Bucky, he kind of agrees with him, you know what I'm saying? And for a moment there, but then all of a sudden, I think he got a little bit intimidated, man, and he was like, well, I'm gonna take my own plan and my own route, man. People start coming in the windows, and breaching the doors and everything like that, because Falcon's like, 30 seconds, 5 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and then he says they're coming or whatever, and then after that they come in, they breach in, and then him and Bucky, Captain America and Bucky, all right, the Winter Soldier and Captain America, they start fighting, the United Nation soldiers that are coming in, and it's reminiscent of the past. Back to back, man, brothers. It's really, really cool, man. Epic scene, man. Bucky actually uses Captain America's shield several times. He uses one he uses one to actually hit somebody with, block some bullets with, save Captain America with. There's many, many, many different instances that he actually does it. Bucky is really wild, man. Captain America's trying to save people. Bucky is just trying to get out alive and fight his way out to freedom, man. It's some of the coolest fight sequences that you've seen inside of a close quarter combat. So you'll really enjoy that, man. If you're a fan of that stuff, man, it's really cool. It almost reminds me of like the Matrix Reloaded scene, man, with Neo versus all the agents and stuff, man. It's really, really cool. I think you guys will really, really like that. The sad thing is that once we get out of the apartment complex, everything from that point on is everything that we've seen in the trailers, everything that we've seen in the featurettes, everything that we've seen released from Disney and Marvel, and then the movie just begins to go downhill. You'll still enjoy it, okay? Let me go ahead and rephrase that, okay? And say that a little bit differently. Nothing's really new under the sun in these scenes, but the scenes are still enjoyable, okay? So don't let it take away from the movie. Don't let it, get you upset or nothing like that. Just take it with a grain of salt. You'll still be able to enjoy it. There's still some things that you haven't seen, like Black Panther jumping on Falcon, and then Black Panther taking his mask off. That's pretty much the only thing you haven't seen. But it's still really, really good, man. So Bucky, he decides to escape out of the apartment complex. He jumps it's like 4 or 5 stories up, and then he lands on the next building. Captain America does the same thing as he follows suit. Bucky gets there first, and then as soon as Bucky lands on there, Black Panther is on him, man. He's on a doggone it. He's a cat, and he's attacking that goddamn mouse, man. It literally is. It's like cat and mouse games, man. All through this, it's like literally a Tom and Jerry scene. And I think I'm actually gonna do that. I'm gonna as soon as I get the download link for when this thing comes out on HD, digital HD. I'm gonna definitely spoof the hell out of this, man, with Tom and Jerry music or something like that. So they have the fight on the top of the building. Okay, Black Panther's clearly winning, and then all of a sudden the United Nations helicopter comes into focus and it comes into range, and then it lights them up with a 50 cal. Black Panther cannot be affected by a 50 cal bullet. Okay, it bounces off of his shield. The only thing that he could probably be killed by is when he takes off his helmet, takes off his shield, takes off all of his uniform. So that was really interesting to see that they immediately showed you that Black Panther is a badass motherfucker, man. So don't mess with him. Okay, he jumps off of the building after Bucky sees that Black Panther is distracted. He knocks him, uppercuts him, and then grabs his bag and then takes off running. Captain America follows suit. Black Panther follows suit. They're running, man, and it's like a marathon, dude. They're running so fast, it's ridiculous, man. Bucky is faster than Black Panther, just by a little tiny bit, man. And I think that's because he had a little bit of a he punched him first, you know what I'm saying? But I think if Black Panther and Bucky were next to each other and they said go, Black Panther would dust both of them off, man. And no chance in them trying to catch up or whatever. Captain America is very slow compared to Black Panther and Bucky. He's so slow, in fact, that he has to actually get a car to chase after them. That's when we see the scene that we've seen inside of all of the different trailers and stuff. They're underground, going underneath tunnels and stuff like that. Captain America's still in contact with Falcon. Black Panther jumps on the back because he gets knocked out. Well, not knocked out. He just gets knocked down because Bucky. One of the baddest scenes ever. Let me just talk about this for a second, and then I'll get back into talking about the whole entire scene, man. Bucky grabs this motorcycle, dude, out of midair. It's so badass. He punches this motorcycle dude, grabs the motorcycle before it crashes, jumps on it in the air. It's just a badass scene, man. But the only bad thing is that the motorcycle looked really, really fake, and it just didn't come across. But it was dope the way that they tried to do it, okay? So that's why I gotta give them credit for that, man. Never seen no shit like that before. We've seen Black Widow, drop out of the motherfucking helicarrier, you know what I'm saying, and come down to the street with her motorcycle. But this one topped that one. I won't even lie about that. It topped the hell out of it. It was really, really good job, man. So Black Panther gets knocked down. He latches on to Captain America's Audi vehicle, Jeep, whatever, SUV, and then Bucky sets up this bomb, and it blows up the entrance to the tunnel. And then after that, Black Panther sees that coming, you know what I'm saying, through his cat-like instincts and shit, and he jumps up and then pounces on and pounces on the Winter Soldier, knocking him down, man. And then Falcon, puts his wingspan forward to where he doesn't get crushed or nothing like that. And then he's able to make it out a little bit later on. Captain America flips the vehicle and then jumps out of it. Pretty badass, man. Almost like, Transformers, or not Transformers, Terminator Genesis, man, with Arnold Schwarzenegger when the Terminator used the cop car to do motion and approach, man. It was really, really awesome, man. I love that scene, dude. I can't get enough of that one. Then after that, man, when they're about to fight and face off, man, all the UN soldiers have everybody surrounded. Then War Machine drops in, and he's like, congratulations, Captain America, you're a criminal. Everybody stand down, and then Black Panther takes off his helmet, and he reveals himself as the Black Panther, man. And it's T'Challa, man. He's just chilling like a gangster, man. That's it, guys. I loved it, man. I really did love that scene, man. The only bad thing is just the bad CGI. Bad CGI, man. It really did. It really messed it up for me, man. It really, really did. And I wish I could say, man, damn, man. I wish that, either Warner Brothers would join teams with or not DC Comics, but Warner Brothers would join forces with Disney, and then Marvel and DC can start making movies together. Because, if you look at Batman v Superman, a lot of those sequences, Man of Steel, it was really, really difficult, man, to tell what's fake and what's not. General Zod's suit was fake the entire time. Majority of the Kryptonian suits were fake the entire time, but Iron Man's suit looks really, really fake in this one. Black Panther's suit looks really fake. Bucky's arm in certain circumstances looks fake, and then sometimes they don't even show it, man. He'll have it in his pocket or some shit, or he'll have a glove over it because they don't want to waste the CGI or the money on it, man. It's crazy, it's such a great franchise that they're turning Captain America into. They just have to, be willing to risk a little bit more for it. I understand you want to have a low budget in order to have a bigger, domestic gross, and using that scale that they've had of having a low budget and then having to maximize their profits in the box office numbers. But geez Louise, man, it's looking bad. All right. It's just bad. I mean, that's the same way that they covered up Vision with fucking sweaters and mitts and shit because they don't want to waste the CGI money. It's crazy. But anyway, I'm not going to complain about it, guys. We're sitting at a 7.5, which is not bad. We'll see what happens. We're almost done with this. Once again, the movie runs 2 hours and 17 minutes, man. So we'll see what happens, man. Rather. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now. Major spoilers. Here we go. We're talking about the 51-minute mark all the way until the 1 hour and 9-minute mark. This takes place in between Vienna and then takes us over to Berlin. Or should I say, let me go back and repeat that. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now. Major spoilers. Here we go. This is from the 51-minute mark to the 109 mark. We're talking about the events that happen at the very end of Bucharest and then heading over to Berlin. Okay, so 51 to 53 minutes. Vision cooks Scarlet Witch some dinner. It's a comedy in itself. but then all of a sudden it turns into a horror flick, man. And let me explain that. Vision has never eaten any kind of food. You know, obviously he's not human, okay? But Scarlet Witch and Vision, they have some sort of connection together. There is something there. Vision says, when he's asked, well, what do you want? He's asked by Scarlet Witch. He says, for people to see you as I do. Iron Man will not let Scarlet Witch leave the facility, so Vision is trying his best to be human, but whenever she tries to leave, his protector mode, his Jarvis mode, the robotic mode kicks in, and he immediately, you know what I'm saying, goes from being very nice and very pleasant to being, you know, a robot, man. It's crazy. He's an android, you know. He has, you know, our emotions, our thoughts, our desires, but he also has, you know, the know-how to kill you instantly, you know what I'm saying? So she's stuck inside there with him. We switch over to Berlin. Bucky is now in custody. Captain America, Falcon, and Black Panther are in custody. Bucky is inside of this cell with the number 23 on there, I guess for Michael Jordan or the Illuminati, whichever one you're more interested in. Captain America, Falcon, and and Black Panther, they're talking. Falcon says, "So you like cats?" And then Captain America's like, Captain America's like, Falcon. And then he's like, what? I mean, a man shows up, you know, dressed like a cat. You got to ask. You know, you got to wonder. And then the Black Panther responds, man, he says, the Black Panther has been the protector of Wakanda for generations. And he says, so from a king to a warrior, he said, how long do you think it's going to take me to kill your friend? You know what I'm saying? He says, how long can you keep your friends safe from me? Because I'm Black Panther, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna bust that ass up. All right? It's really, really cool, man. I like how they have, you know, interaction between all characters. Every character on screen talks to each other, man. Let me see. We get introduced to another character, and that is the Hobbit. The Hobbit is now inside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, plays Ross. He's a task force commander, and I don't trust him already, man. The wings for Falcon and the shield for Captain America are the property of the United States government, or the government now, maybe the UN. And Iron Man and Captain America are talking around the 57-minute mark, and Captain America comes up to, Iron Man comes up to Captain America and wants him to sign this peace treaty, or he even tries to you know, persuade him using a pin from his time frame. You know what I'm saying? When two countries came together for the betterment of our world, our civilization, for the future of mankind, and they signed a peace treaty. But Captain America's like, no, I'm not doing that. Okay, and this is at the 1 hour mark. You get that famous line from Tony Stark to Captain America. Sometimes I want to punch you in your perfect teeth. That was at the 1 minute mark, and it was pretty powerful seeing that, man. The 101 mark, man, the government is investigating Bucky. Agent Blank comes in to help, and Captain America hear what's going on inside the room. At the 102 mark, there's a delivery truck guy that delivers a package to someone that you immediately should recognize, I guess you can say, from the picture that is of Bucky inside the UN explosion. He's the guy that has framed Bucky. At the 103 mark, the package is opened, and then you see that it is a actual bomb. That is the same bomb that was inside of Zemo's closet. So therefore, I'm thinking that Zemo is involved in this whole situation from the very beginning, and from that 103 mark when it blows up. So I said, oh snap! So now Bucky is being interrogated, and the guy that's inside there with Bucky is actually Zemo, and he was using some disguises to hide himself, man. And they start showing you that during the scene. They start showing you underneath the table, he doesn't have normal shoes on, and then all of a sudden at the 104 mark you see the red book, and then he starts reading the incantation, and he starts reading whatever's written inside of there, whatever those codes are, those words are that can activate the Winter Soldier. That's what he's doing. And then all of a sudden Bucky is activated at the 105 mark by Zemo, and he says mission report December 16th 1991. That gets Bucky doing whatever he's supposed to do, and there's no stopping him, man. Bucky fights Captain America. He knocks him down an elevator shaft. Then he knocks out, before that, he actually knocks out Falcon, and then Falcon gives chase to Zemo. The 106 mark. This is that exact same scene that Marvel had released with with Iron Man versus Bucky, and then Bucky versus Agent Blank, and then I'm not going to spoil that. I want to tell you who it is. And then after Agent Blank goes down, then Black Widow is almost killed by Bucky, and then after that, Black Widow was saved by Black Panther because it's Black Panther versus Bucky. It's bad as hell, dude. It's one of the dopest scenes, man. It happens so fast. There's really nothing new, so it doesn't elevate the movie or nothing like that. But it's pretty cool to see how powerful, man, Black Panther is, man. They didn't do the cop out mode, you know what I'm saying, and have him all weak and shit, man. He's inside the movie. It's bad as hell. You're gonna love it, man. Black Panther grabs Bucky's hand and he notices something about his arm, man. That's all I'm gonna say. And me personally, I think it's the connection to his land. That's all. I think that's what it is. I'm just gonna go ahead and go with that for right now. Bucky gets knocked down. This not a shaft, but over the railing from Black Panther. He knocks him down. Then he tries to chase after him, but he doesn't know where he went. But that's okay though. Bucky he also knocked out Black Widow and the other agent. And then Iron Man, he also knocked him out too. And then at the 107 to the 108 mark is Captain America versus Bucky versus the helicopter. Bucky gets inside of his helicopter and tries to take off. Captain America's like, no, I'm not feeling that. Yo, I got you, man. You're my brother. You're not leaving me. You're not leaving me again, man. I'm not going to be frozen alone, man. I want to be frozen together with you because I love you. You're my brother. And then all of a sudden he grabs his helicopter, man, and they show that same exact scene, man. There's really nothing new. The only thing that's new is that the helicopter actually goes down because Bucky tries to kill Captain America. Literally tries to take his head off with the goddamn chopper blades, man. You know what I'm saying? Bring the chopper down, yeah! And he tries to kill Captain America, man. It's really, really intense. It's really good. CGI is good on there. But the helicopter does look pretty fake, man, once again. And that's what, you can't give the movie any more rating. You can't give it anything else because, the CGI is pretty bad, man. The helicopter finally goes down into the water, and then Captain America once again saves Bucky. And that's where we're sitting at, man. Bucky is actually in custody right now. Well, not custody, but he has, Captain America has him locked up, and him and Falcon are watching over him, and that's where we're at right now. We're going to continue on, guys. It's 2 hours and 17 minutes in total time. We're at 1 hour and 11 minutes, man, so we're almost there. Right there, guys. Comment about the Captain America Winter Soldier, man, right there. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now. Major spoilers, here we go. 109 to 122, and I might split it up, but let's just, I want to talk about the good stuff, then we'll go back and talk about the other stuff. 116, 1 hour and 16 minutes in, all the way to 1 hour and 22 minutes, you get the introduction of Spider-Man inside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Wow, man. At the 116 mark, you see Queens, giant letters on the screen, coming at you 3D, nothing but dopeness about this, man. I absolutely love everything about it. It's crazy. 6 months is how long Spider-Man has had the powers, okay? Or Peter Parker has had the powers to be Spider-Man. In 6 months he's been being Spider-Man. It's 6 months. You get excited, man, because they got something really special here, man, Marvel and Disney, and you can't help but just smile, man. Iron Man is the first person to know about Peter Parker being Spider-Man, and they play around with that so beautifully on screen. You can't deny it, man. I don't know if I like this Peter Parker version. It's not my Peter Parker, but I'm pretty sure that some kid out there will be inspired by, this Peter Parker, okay? Favorite line right now is, "I got homework," okay? And that was when Tony Stark asked him, "Do you have a passport? Do you ever went to Germany?" He's like, I can't go to Germany. And he's like, "Why? Why can't you go?" "I got homework." And that was it. It felt like Spider-Man. It felt like Peter Parker. It felt like something he would say. I don't know about the delivery. The delivery, it's not as funny as Tobey Maguire. It's not even as funny as what you call it either, man. Which I didn't even like Andrew Garfield. But now that he's gone and this guy's here, you can't help but just think about that, man. But it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. That was the first time that we've seen him. Aunt May is a hot aunt. That's the thing, and Tony Stark said that. He said, "I can't believe that she's an aunt." And then they started, flirting and stuff, I don't know how Pepper Potts is going to feel about that. I don't know how anyone is going to feel about anything, you know what I'm saying? Because Yeah, we never know. We'll have to just find out, I guess, if she returns or if it comes up later on. Because I think Iron Man is going to be inside of a Spider-Man movie. It's probably going to make a lot of money because their interactions between one another are crazy, man. It's really, really good chemistry. Okay, moving on, man. We're going to back up to the 109 mark, and like I said, we're talking about 109 all the way to 122. Bucky is being held by Captain America and Falcon, and he is told by Captain America, remember why Zemo wanted to talk to you. Why is this so important? You know? And then Bucky was like, "Well, I don't know." And he's saying, Captain America said, "I don't know isn't good enough." He said, "Think about it. You know, we don't have any more options, man. You know, we got to figure out something." And then Bucky was like, he was talking to me about Siberia. And then Captain America was like, "What's so important about Siberia?" And he said, "That's the location where I was held when I first woke up or whatever." And then Zemo wants to know the location and why. It's because he's not the only Winter Soldier. So the quote of that was, "Because I'm not the only Winter Soldier." And that was from Bucky, man. So they went to flashback 1991. 1991 pops up on the screen. They talk about this elite death squad, and it's a whole bunch of Winter Soldiers, man. Once again, that's why I didn't want to, earlier in my podcast when I was talking about the briefcase, I didn't want to spoil anything because I knew exactly what was going to happen with this situation. That was the serum. That was the blue. I guess you could say blue water, blue IV, whatever you want to call it. And no, not like blue IV like Jay-Z's daughter and like that. No, we're talking about just an IV bag with blue solution inside of it, and that's the Winter Soldier solution. So yeah, it was pretty cool, man. At the end of that scene, Falcon says to Captain America, "I know a guy," and I'm pretty sure he was talking about Ant-Man. It's either going to be Ant-Man or it's going to be somebody else. Either like Hawkeye or something like that, but he says he knows a guy. I'm pretty sure that's who he's talking about. And then that takes us over to Tony Stark and Black Widow talking to the Secretary of State. Secretary of State, pretty much wants to just bring in Captain America or kill them all. He doesn't really care. Tony says, "Give me 72 hours. I guarantee you that I'll bring them back." Secretary of State says, "No, you got 36 hours." The mention of the Incredible Hulk happens again at the 1 hour and 15 minute mark. Because everybody's like, I could really use a Hulk right now because the situation's getting really crazy. Black Widow and Tony Stark, they end up teaming up, and then Black Widow asks him, "Do you know of anybody?" And then she's like, "Yeah, downstairs." So she probably has like either Hawkeye or somebody else that she has, maybe some couple of friends downstairs. But Tony Stark says, "Yeah, I know someone too." And that's when we head over to Queens and we get introduced to Peter Parker, brand new Spider-Man, brand new Aunt May. Everybody's in the movie, man. Didn't even see that coming, and it's beautifully done. 1 hour and 22 minutes into it, and everything has been covered so far, man. So we're good to go. We're heading forward, man. All right, guys, right here. Let me know what you think about that. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now. Major spoilers, here we go. This is going from the 122 mark all the way down to the 145 mark. So 1 hour and 22 minutes to 1 hour and 45 minutes. Just a really emotional roller coaster of a ride. At the 122 mark, I had the movie back up to a 8 out of 10 star movie. Then the fight started happening, and it dropped down to a 7 out of 10 star movie. And then, we got with the incident between Vision when he, accidentally shot War Machine out of the sky. It brought it back up to a 8.5 out of 10 star movie right at that moment because it was pretty powerful, man. Majority of the fight sequences that we saw at the airport, they were on the trailer. The only thing that's different is the Ant-Man sequence, a little bit more Spider-Man stuff, a lot of tag team stuff, Black Widow versus Black Panther, stuff like that. But it's just the CGI, man, is just really really bad. It's so distracting, man. It really is, man. This could have easily been a 10 out of 10 star movie like Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. What is it called? The Huntsman, Winter's War. Deadpool. All those movies, they really took their time and they really did the CGI, justice, man. And what I mean by that is you can still have a bad CGI, but it kind of just takes you out of the elements, you know, in the realistic ability, you know what I'm saying? It really does have a tendency to be more realistic if the CGI is done right, man. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. At the 122 mark, man, Hawkeye arrives from retirement. This was one of the best scenes because, you know, a little bit more comedy and action. From 122 down to 145, there's a lot of comedy, man. I won't even lie about that. It's like you're watching a fucking stand-up comedy show, to be honest, man. But, you know, there's nothing you can do about that. That's Marvel. That's Disney. That's what they do. So Hawkeye comes. He's trying to rescue Scarlet Witch from Vision. So you get a Vision versus Hawkeye, and then after that, you get a Scarlet Witch versus Vision. This was a really awesome scene, man. I'm not even going to lie about that. And that's why I had it at 8 out of 10 stars, coming up from a 7.5 out of 10 stars. It just gave it that boost that it needed, man. The only thing that was bad is that whenever Scarlet Witch takes out Vision and she throws him down into the depths of hell, I guess, because she hits him like, I don't know, 15 floors below the earth. The CGI was really, really bad, man. I'm not gonna lie about that. But I love how Vision is powerful, man, but he always holds back. Vision can kill the entire Avengers lineup, but he holds back. And he always holds out for Scarlet Witch, man. Really, really fascinating how they do that, man. 124 mark, man. Black Widow recruits Black Panther, and it was pretty cool to see the Wakandan, you know, I guess you can say representation here in the world, and how much security he has, and the technology of Wakanda is so far advanced that she knew that. You know, Black Widow knew that. She said you can find Bucky, you know, within hours and what would take us, you know, a couple of days or a couple of weeks, you know what I'm saying? So it's pretty cool that they know that they actually said that, and they're acknowledging that, you know, Wakanda is a powerful nation, man, inside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just like Wakanda is inside of the Marvel Comics universe. So yeah, pretty cool about that, man. Number 125, man, at an hour and 25 minutes in, man, Agent Blank, I'm not going to spoil who it is, man, she brings the shield and wings to Captain America, and they kiss. This one blew my mind because this is like, I think, a day after the events of, you know, Peggy Carter, you know, her death, her funeral. And just like that, you know, Captain America's moving on. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think that he should, you know, hold on to, you know, that, I guess. But, you know, it's only been a certain amount of time for him. You know, let's say it's been 4 years, you know, 3 to 4 years since he woke up. So, like, you know, what the hell, dude? Like, it's crazy. Anyway, man, they kiss, man, and what was pretty funny about this scene is that Bucky and and Falcon are in the Bucky's in the back seat, Falcon's in the front seat. Falcon won't move his seat up. Bucky's like, dude, can you move your seat up? He's like, no. And so Bucky ends up moving to the other seat in the back seat, you know, behind the driver's side, man. And then they both, you know, acknowledge Captain America just got a kiss, and then they kind of, you know, nod their head like, yeah, that's what's up, man. And that's pretty cool, man. 126, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, they bring Ant-Man to Captain America and Falcon, and it's that same exact scene from the trailer, man. And that's what I said before. There's a lot of just repeat stuff from all the trailers, man, inside here. So you'll hear me say that a lot, man. Number 127, we get the airport evacuated, and then as soon as you hear that airport being evacuated, you know what's coming next, man. And that was probably just Marvel's cop-out scene, man. It would have been really awesome to see, you know, some sort of realistic, you know, stuff, man. Maybe an airplane trying to land, something, you know, passengers looking, you know, outside, you know, the in the terminals looking out the windows, whatever. Can't do nothing about that. That's Marvel. That's a DC. Whatever, man. But you know, the evacuation comes. You're like, okay, here we go, man. This is it. This is what we're talking about. This is Iron Man versus Captain America. This is the movie, man. This is where the Civil War happens, man. So 128, man. Iron Man, War Machine, Black Panther, and Black Widow, plus Vision. They all arrive, and Captain America is the first one to walk out, man. And it's literally Iron Man, War Machine, Black Panther, Black Widow, and Vision versus Captain America at that point, man. And then all of a sudden we find out that it's a distraction. And what was cool about this, man, is that At the 128 mark, you get Iron Man, War Machine, Black Widow, Black Panther, and Vision. They're confronting Captain America, trying to make him stand down. Iron Man gets frustrated at 129. Spider-Man, he says, Underoos, you heard it in the trailer. There's no surprise here. That's what sucks about it, because there's nothing will surprise you at all in this sequence. But anyway, Spider-Man steals Captain America's shield at 129. At 130, Captain America puts his hands up. Not Black Widow, but Hawkeye shoots Captain America's hands free because Spider-Man had had him all webbed up, and then Ant-Man versus Spider-Man happens, and what happens is that Hawkeye shoots his arrow, just like you saw in the trailer. I mean, I'm not going to get frustrated, but I'm trying not to. But just like you saw in the trailer, Hawkeye shoots the arrow. Ant-Man's on the front of the arrow, and then, he shoots it, and then Ant-Man jumps on Spider-Man. And Spider-Man's like, oh, what's going on? What the hell? And then he, punches Spider-Man and flips Spider-Man, and then he gives Captain America back his shield, and he says, here you go, Captain America. It was funny, man, but it was just like, I've seen it already. 134, man, was, after they get done fighting and everybody goes back and forth, it's the same stuff. Spider-Man, holds Captain or the Winter Soldier's arm and says, oh, dude, your arm is metal. That's cool, man. And then it's Spider-Man versus Falcon, and Spider-Man almost takes out Falcon in the Winter Soldier, but you already saw what happened in the trailer. I'm not even going to talk about it no more. And then all of a sudden at 134, some new material comes, and that's Vision. He ends the fight with a laser beam, down the line, and he says, this must stop right here, and we saw that. Once again, the superheroes, they line up, they do their face off, and this was the trailer scene, the exact same thing that you saw. 137 and 140, 141 and 142, we'll do all these together real quick. One of my favorite lines was something just flew in me. Something just flew in me, or flew through me, I guess you could say, but I think he said flew in me, and that was Ant-Man referring to Vision as he went through him. Ant-Man gets really giant, he gets really big in the sky, and then Spider-Man says, you guys remember that old movie from way back in the day, Empire Strikes Back, and then they do the Empire Strike Back scene. That was nothing original, nothing new. You knew it was going to come. As soon as Ant-Man got big, everybody knew that. I mean, it's whatever. I guess, kids of this generation will enjoy it or whatever, but whatever. 142, man, Spider-Man is done. He's told by Iron Man to, stand down, step down. He says, I'll call Aunt May if you don't stay down. And then Spider-Man says, I'm done. And that's the last that we've seen of Spider-Man after 142. And haven't seen him since, man. 145, man, Vision hits War Machine, and War Machine goes down. We don't know if he's alive or dead, meaning that we don't know if he's going to live or die, I guess you could say, but he has vital signs. So, once again, there isn't any sort of risk. There isn't any sort of... There's nothing... There's nothing, guys. I can't describe it to you. Superman died in Batman v Superman. We didn't see that coming. We didn't know they were going to kill off Superman. No one knew that. And, we thought that, War Machine was going to die. He didn't die. So far, we've only lost, Peggy Carter in this movie. And, it's 1 hour and 45 minutes into the movie. And there's just nothing at risk. There's nothing risked at the movie, man. There's nothing, but, I'm still, enjoying it a little bit, man, but I don't know. Whatever, man. I'm done. We'll see what happens, man. Let me know what you guys think. Right. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now. Major spoilers. Here we go. We're going to start from the end of the movie and then work our way back. Not the very, very end, but I just want to talk about the Stan Lee cameo, and that is Stan Lee is a FedEx delivery person, and he calls Tony Stark Tony Stink. He says, is Tony Stink there? Excelsior. It was actually so funny because the whole entire movie, I wasn't even thinking about, I said, where's Stan Lee? And that didn't even come into my mind. And then all of a sudden it happened, and, the thing that you were not even realizing that you were missing you now know, okay, damn, I was missing that, man, and you really just appreciated it, man. And we'll talk about what was inside of the FedEx package, and we'll go into depth on that, man. We are talking about the 1 hour and 45-minute mark all the way down to the 1 hour and 27-minute mark. There are how do you want to say? There is a post-credit scene. We're talking about a Marvel movie. You should know that. You should stay, for that, and hopefully you did. And if you didn't, then go watch it again. 145, man. Buck and Captain America, man, they're in the Quinjet and they're heading to this location. The location is where the origin of the original, I said the origin, the origin of the original, the origin of the Winter Soldier is, and that's going to probably most likely run them into what is his name? Zemo. Yeah, keep calling him Nemo for some reason, and then Zemo, and then Zorro or something like that. But it's Zemo, and that should hopefully end this movie pretty well, man. Okay. 147, man, Black Widow and Iron Man, they talk and maybe cut cords and ties, and Black Widow actually tells Tony Stark, she says, maybe you should watch your back. I wouldn't be the only one that's out there, watching your back. You better be watching your back, because something's coming for you. She kind of gives him a warning and a threat. 146, man, War Machine gets an MRI and a CAT scan, and Vision feels grief, and you can actually really feel that in that scene. It was really powerful, man. This kind of sucks, man. I was really pissed off about this, man. War Machine is paralyzed. All right, so don't know what that's gonna do with Don Cheadle. Whatever. We're not going to talk about that because that's going to get me pissed off, and I don't want to be pissed off, man. I want to, finish this movie review and go on with my life, and still feel happy, okay? Because after the movie's over with, I do feel a little happy. I'm a little disappointed, but I am still happy, though, okay? So anyway, 148, man, Tony is talking to Zemo, and Tony is tracking Zemo, and we find out that, that Captain America was right all along, and then Tony Stark comes up with this idea to try to rectify the situation, man. Then all of a sudden you have Tony heading out into the middle of the ocean to go find the Secretary of State to maybe talk to the Avengers that are locked up, and that'll put him on the track to actually get to Captain America. 149, the Red Book is shown again in the Winter Soldier origin location. That's where we're back at. It's at the very beginning of the movie, and once again, I talk about this a lot. Each scene has its own, is contained within its own self, okay? The way that I divided up the movie. And the beginning of the movie tells the end of the movie, okay? And you should pick up on this. It's really not that difficult. It's not a difficult movie to track and trace. And I think that's probably why people are really, loving these Marvel movies, because it doesn't take any fucking sort of intelligence to figure this out, man. Okay, no disrespect to people that are Marvel Cinematic Universe fans, but there's nothing tricky about it. They show you everything within the first 15 minutes of the movie, and you should be able to figure it out. Okay, but anyway, we're gonna continue on. All right, Tony goes out there at 150, man. Tony arrives at the Ocean Prison. Ocean Prison is pretty good, man. Really good CGI. I'm thinking to myself, either they save the CGI for the ocean and for the end fight, the last fight scene, and that's where all the money went to, which doesn't make any sense because the beginning of the movie just fell apart because of that reason, man. But, the CGI going into this ocean was, like, really, really great. Inside of this prison, this is where Tony Stark is informed after he talks to Falcon, where Captain America is located at, and then we find out that the people that are in prison are Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and Falcon, and also Scarlet Witch. It's really depressing seeing them in there. It's almost something out of Smallville, if you remember, with what Lex Luthor was doing, man. It's horrible when you imprison any of these enhanced humans, or these enhanced individuals that they're calling them. Let me see. 154, man. Stark leaves on a mission, and that mission is to go to get Captain America. At 155. Tony Stark lays his seat back and then transforms into Iron Man. It was one of the dopest, most original ideas I can think of, and it's so Tony Stark. He just leans back into his seat. The seat turns into Iron Man, or the seat contains the material that puts him inside of the suit. I don't know how to even describe it. It was dope as shit. And then after that, he flies out the back of the helicopter, and he's on his mission, man. As soon as he gets out of the scene, as soon as he flies out of the scene, what was very surprising and what I loved about this is because, if you're a fan of Black Panther, you understand this, man. Wakanda is the most advanced civilization in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Black Panther is one of the strongest characters. His civilization has done more for the world than any other fucking civilization ever, and I love it. They nailed the shit, and they didn't hide it. Black Panther is inside of an airplane. And the airplane is undetectable to Tony Stark's technology, to U.S. government technology. He's just chilling in this plane, and he follows Tony Stark, man. Awesome. Outstanding. Perfect, man. And as soon as they make it HD, to where I can take a screen cap, man, I'm putting that as my profile picture, man, or my banner, because it just people need to see that, man. That was dope as shit, man. I really love that. 156, man. Bucky and Cap, get some buddy cop moments. And then 157, Iron Man arrives to talk to Cap, man. They're thinking that it's an ambush, man, by Zemo, and it turns out to just be Tony Stark. And once again, majority of the stuff that we're seeing inside of this 145 mark all the way to the end of the movie at 127, there's really nothing new, guys. It's all from the trailers. There's really nothing, to be honest, there's really nothing new, man. That's what we end up happening. 157, man, Iron Man mentions Manchurian Candidate. I really like that one. That was pretty awesome, man. Iron Man, Captain America, and Bucky, they team up. Iron Man tells Bucky, lower your weapon, man, because it's getting pretty ridiculous. This is supposed to be a ceasefire, man. Just lower your weapon, man. 209, man. Let me see. The famous scene. He's my friend, and then so was I, and I can do this all day. That happens at 209. At 110, at 210, it's all over. The fight stops. Captain America drops his shield. Iron Man is defeated. The Winter Soldier's arm is cut off, and that's literally the end of the movie, man. What happened or not the end of the movie, but the end of the fight scene? What happened in between, I guess you could say, 157 and 210 is that Zemo, we find out that Zemo is from Sokovia, and the December 16th, 1991 is the day that Tony Stark's parents died. So once again, going back to the beginning of the movie, you should have picked this up. The Winter Soldier presses the car. The car was kind of how do you want to say it? The car had technology in it that was more advanced than anything we've seen before. So we knew the connection already, guys. We knew this already because we remember back to who created this, who helped do all this stuff was the serum back in the Winter Soldier serum or the how do you want to say it? The super serum it always came from Tony Stark. It always came from that family. You know what I'm saying? So we knew this already. We knew that the Winter Soldier had killed Tony Stark's parents. We knew this. We knew this. It's too easy. Too easy. All right. We knew this at the beginning of the movie. There was really no reason for that. And my thing is too, I'm not going to get into it too much, but I just want to say this, DC Comics, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, Marvel Comics, Captain America Civil War, both had something to do with parents. What the fuck? Like, seriously. Whose idea was original? Which one came? I want to investigate this too because I want to find out, what's the reason behind this? How are critics saying that this is better than Batman v Superman? Which they're not even better than each other. They're to me they're identical movies. It's just one's going the opposite direction. One has an alien and a super a billionaire that are fighting because they don't know each other, and then they finally find something in common, and it's the name Martha, their mother. And then you have the Winter Soldier, who is best friends with Captain America, who's best friends with Iron Man. Iron Man and the Winter Soldier, they don't get along because someone killed their parents, okay? And what I mean by that is that the Winter Soldier fucking killed Iron Man's parents, and now Iron Man is a little pissed off and wants to kill the Winter Soldier. And then they finally end up, disagreeing, I guess, are agreeing to disagree or whatever, and then they finally, come to a truce after they fight it and duke it out. Same thing happened in Batman v Superman. Exact same fucking thing. It was just, instead of Captain America being there, it was, the name Martha in Batman v Superman. So I don't understand. I don't know the difference. I don't understand, any of it. But, that's just the way it is, man. There's nothing really you can do about that. Black Panther never fought Captain America, Iron Man, or the Winter Soldier. He saved Zemo from killing himself. He did choke him out. I don't know if he actually killed him. We'll find out. I think that he choked him out, and then Ross, the director, whatever his title was, kept him inside of this prison. But it seems as if he's gonna break him out or something, man. Just don't trust that guy. And then after that, we cut to a scene at 2:14, man. Tony Stark, gets the package from Stan Lee. Tony Stark is with, War Machine. War Machine is paralyzed, but he's using some of the technology that Tony Stark has provided to make him walk again and feel more comfortable. But it's gonna take a lot of time to get back to where he's at. 2:15, man. Cap gets the FedEx message. He opens it up. It's from Captain America. It's a reconciliation. He's trying to, get the Avengers back together again, but, everything has changed, man. Tony Stark has taken the Captain America shield. We don't know what the hell to call Captain America. I don't even know what to call him anymore. Everything's kind of confused, but, Bucky is with Black Panther inside of Wakanda. He's going to get his arm back, or he'll get cryogenically frozen. Who the fuck knows? No one really knows. But it is good to see that the Black Panther is protecting Wakanda like they showed us and told us about. And that's it, guys. We're out of here. Okay. At the end of the movie, what I feel is like there has been a roller coaster of a ride. I do feel like it was a great product. I do think it is a better movie than every movie inside of Phase 2 besides, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, okay? If I had to choose the movie that was best out of this franchise, I would say that the Winter Soldier is my favorite one so far. Reason why is it both of them fall short right towards the end. And what I mean by that is, and I'll go into more detail, but both of them fall short. You know what I'm saying? The first Avenger was definitely my favorite movie before Winter Soldier came out. But Winter Soldier had something, because it had, the conspiracy and a lot of stuff like that. This one was still cool because of the, Manchurian Candidate sort of vibe to it. But just a little bit too much, playful attitude for me, man. But I'm not going to hold that against it. It's not going to go against the rating or nothing like that. But I can't give it a perfect 10 out of 10 star rating because of the beginning of the movie with all the different things that happen, people surviving and living, with ridiculous stuff happening to them, and we're talking about just the normal human characters, okay? There's just no way that some of the stuff that happened, would have kept those characters alive, man. Just no, there's no way in hell, man. It's impossible. It's impossible. It just doesn't make any sense. It's impossible. I'm not even gonna get into it anymore, but it's impossible for that to happen. It can't happen, man. All right. But yeah, the rating that I give the movie is going to be a 9 out of 10 star rating. What brought it up for me was the way that they still allowed the Wakanda civilization to be presented correctly. I didn't like the fact that there was no risk. Someone was supposed to die during this movie, and no one died. Okay, so once again we go into another movie that nothing's happened. There's been no risk, man, out of this, man. And it's still an enjoyable movie. But I mean, as far as me rewatching it, there's no reason for me to rewatch it. It's a zero rewatchability factor for me. There's nothing in it. There's no substance. There's no meat. There was really cool fight scenes and stuff, but we've seen it all. We've seen it on the trailers. You can go and download the trailers and watch them over again. You're not missing anything. I promise you that. And that's just the fact of the matter, man. It's not to say that Marvel's doing anything wrong. They're doing Marvel, man. They're playing safe. There's no risk. No one died. Captain America's still alive. Iron Man's still alive. Bucky's still fucking alive. He has his arm chopped off. Captain America, with all his strength, laid down the smackdown on Iron Man, and nothing happened. The reactor went off and nothing exploded. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. There's so many different things that I just didn't understand here. I don't get it. I don't get it at all, man. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. But I mean, I hope that you guys go check it out. You know, it's not going to take away from the movie or not like that. It's definitely worth a watch at least one time, man. That's it, man. I'm going to put all these different podcasts and stuff together, man. I have an ultimate Captain America review, and then I'm going to be talking about Captain America and Batman vs Superman later on too. So check that out, man, guys. Comment on the video. Remember, we're giving away some Captain America stuff and some Marvel stuff, man. So make sure you comment and stuff like that, and good luck to you guys, man. I'm out of here, guys. Let me know what you thought about Captain America Civil War. That's it. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Captain America Civil War, stop listening now. Major spoilers, here we go. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Batman v Superman, stop listening now. Major spoilers, here we go. We are talking about these two movies, and we're going to compare them. We're going to contrast them. We're going to talk about the good. We're going to talk about the bad. And we're going to talk about how these critics 100% lied through their teeth. And both of these movies are good. Both of these movies are worth the time and attention of comic book fans. But what is so fascinating about it, now that they're out, now that we are able to sit down in the theater and watch them, they're both the same movie. They both deal with the exact same issue at the end of the day. And what is crazy about it is that they are just the opposite direction as far as how they're edited, okay? What I mean by that, Batman Bruce Wayne versus Superman Clark Kent, and the reason why they stopped fighting is because of Martha, the name Martha, their mother, their connection that they have between their mother. Once they stop fighting, they join forces and they go after a common enemy. Captain America Civil War, you have Tony Stark versus Captain America versus Bucky, okay? The Winter Soldier, Tony Stark Iron Man, Steve Rogers Captain America. Steve Rogers is, I guess you can say, he's the Wonder Woman of this situation. He's not going to choose sides. He's going to do what's right regardless, okay? Meaning that he's always going to choose the right way or the correct thing to do, the law of the land. And in this situation, that's exactly what he does. Iron Man is fighting Bucky because Bucky, the Winter Soldier, killed Iron Man's parents. The only one to stop them, okay, at the end of the movie in this circumstance is Captain America. The middle of the movie with Captain America Civil War, they have a common enemy that they're fighting, and that is opposite teams. And they're fighting against the, how do you want to say it? And let me make sure I get this right, because last time I messed up the name. Let me make sure I get it right. The name of this product that is going to be in place upon them, they have to sign it. It's a treaty or an alliance or an agreement. It's called the Sokovia Accordance. Okay, so they're fighting against that. Okay, Captain America, Iron Man, they both have two different teams, and then they fight together. Okay, and at the end of Batman v Superman, you know, once the name Martha's mentioned, they join together and they fight against Doomsday. Okay? So it's the same exact movie. The only thing that's different, I would say, here is that Captain America spends more time talking, and they spend more time with their character development, I guess you can say, and not necessarily developing them to a way that you'll like them in the future or nothing. It's just they show them in their natural element before they show them in their costumes. All right? So we didn't get to see, you know, a young Bruce Wayne fighting as Batman. So some of the people might have been disconnected because the Batman is so big and he's so massive, you know, and all we get to see him is, you know, beating on people, branding people, being shot at by the cops. There was never a good moment except towards the end of the movie. But at the end of the movie, Big Batman is running around, jumping and trying to get his life, you know, saved from, you know, from Doomsday. So there's really no moment besides, you know, him shooting the kryptonite tear gas at Doomsday to where Superman can penetrate him through the heart and kill him, and then get killed himself by sacrificing himself. That was pretty much it. But we didn't get to see moments except him beating on Superman, which people thought that was wrong, you know. But in this Captain America Civil War, they do break it down. They break down Spider-Man, you know. But if you're looking at how much time that Marvel spends on fight sequences, that Marvel spends on chase scenes, if you look at the time, it's very, very minimal time on screen that you're seeing that compared to Batman v Superman. There was a lot of action. The entire first 15 minutes of you know, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, that's the introduction of, you know, the world meeting Superman for the first time, and we get to see all the events of Man of Steel being played on the big screen through the eyes of Bruce Wayne, through his perspective. So, you know, we start out with action, we end with action, and I guess there's just not a lot of time to catch your breath, and I think that's what the problem or issue is that most fans have with it, man. But it's the exact same movie, man. There's no difference, man. There's even a moment where we take out time for Steve Rogers to have a morning session for Peggy Carter, the same exact way that we took out a time for Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman to hang out. And then also there's a moment where we took time to go and actually see Scarlet Witch and Vision hang out together the exact same time that we spent seeing Wonder Woman look on her emails and check her emails. There's literally no difference inside of this movie. We can do it again. There's another scene where we have, you know, the Daily Planet scenes with Lois Lane doing her back and forth with Perry White. That's the exact same scene that we had with Tony Stark and Aunt May and Spider-Man. There's no difference between this movie, man. The only thing that I saw, and the only reason that I gave these two movies different ratings, I gave Batman v Superman 10 out of 10 star ratings because they killed Superman. Okay, that wasn't the only reason, but it looked, you know, Doomsday looked very real. It looked like a real fucking monster, man. It looked really scary as shit. A lot of the CGI that was used, it looked real. It looked like there was really, you know, an attack happening right there. You know what I'm saying? Wonder Woman, whenever she got hit with, you know, Doomsday's heat vision, it looked like she was literally on fire and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything about that movie was real as shit. Whenever Doomsday penetrated Superman's heart and, you know, tried to fucking kill him with that goddamn spear, that little bit of finger, I guess, that was regrowing. And it looked real. Whenever Superman had the bullet hole chest, you know, wound from that damn spear, I cried my eyes out, you know? They look real. We go to, you know, Captain America Civil War, none of it looked real. None of it looked real. None of it. Not even Iron Man. And that's what tripped me out. I said, holy shit, Iron Man looks really fake this time, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want, you know, I guess mediocre CGI, that's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm talking about is the ratings, dude. Like, how could you sit here as, you know, these damn critics and say that one movie is better than the other, or Batman v Superman is a horror movie, replace Zack Snyder, and then sit here and lift up the Russo brothers when the movie looks the exact same as Zack Snyder's movie? You know, it's just, I guess it's happier. It has a lot more jokes. If you want, I guess, to fucking laugh, you know what I'm saying, and tickle yourself and shit, somebody tickle your goddamn fancy while you're watching the movie, yeah, you'll prefer the other one. But I think it's biased as shit, dude. I'm a DC Comics fan. I'm a super fan, dude. I love the DC Extended Universe. I can't stand Marvel Cinematic Universe once we get to Phase 2. Phase 2 is horrible, man. Just discredit it, throw it out the window. Just do Phase 1. Phase 1 is perfect, man. And then we get to Phase 3. Phase 3 is really good. It's a really good, solid start, man. 9 out of 10 stars, man. Batman v Superman, 10 out of 10 stars. There's no difference, man. What I want people to do, man, is just start being honest, man, and stop lying about this shit. It's ridiculous, man, to sit here and say that you know, Marvel is better than DC Comics because of this, man. It just pisses me off, man. It's just unfair. I just got done watching the movie. There's really no difference between this movie, man. And there's a lot of shit that just doesn't make sense in this movie either, man. You know, it's impossible for someone to fucking throw a grenade inside of a vehicle, and then that vehicle has so much, I guess you could say, explosive tension or force to where it blows you out of the vehicle. One grenade. We're talking about a one little tiny grenade. Looks like it was built in like 1912. I don't even know. They don't even make grenades like that anymore. I don't even know where the hell they got that grenade from. But yeah, there's no way that Black Widow would have survived that. Her ass would have been dead, or she had some shrapnel or something. You know, it's impossible for a fucking human being, okay, that's not enhanced. They call them enhanced humans. There's no way that a non-enhanced human can survive any of that stuff, man. Between her and if here's the thing. Let me just put it this way: if War Machine, who has a machine to protect him, breaks his fucking spine by falling and crashing into the ground after being shot by Vision. Number one, for Vision to not be able to penetrate that armor, that's ridiculous. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. For him to break his spine, and for Hawkeye and Black Widow and who else is another person? And Falcon to not be injured at all, it's bullshit. There's no way you can hit the floor as Falcon, you know what I'm saying, coming from those different speeds, hit the floor, your shoulder blade doesn't go out, you know, your damn ankle doesn't get twisted, you know what I'm saying? It's so unrealistic as shit, man. You know, and I'm just saying, it's a comic book movie, you know, nobody really cares, but come on, dude, we got to start, you know, putting these things to the same standard, hold them to the same scale, and not trying to, you know, elevate one over the other. But, you know, I'm going to call bullshit where I see bullshit, man, you know, and same thing with some of the Black Panther scenes. It's like, dude, you know, you look fake as hell, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're supposed to be a big, you know, badass, you know, look the part, man, you know? And I'm not going to try to, you know, sit there and elevate, you know, Marvel over or DC over Marvel. I'm not going to say that. But, you know, when you look at the Marvel cinema, the DC cinematic universe or DC extended universe compared to the Marvel cinematic universe, you can tell that the CGI is better. It's period. It's better, man. That's just it, man. I want to go ahead and just say that and leave that alone, man. I enjoyed both movies. I will say that. The rewatchability factor is literally low as hell. I mean, I put it at a 0 out of 10 stars. There's no way I can sit there and rewatch Captain America Civil War. There's no way. The fight scenes between Batman and Superman and Doomsday and Wonder Woman, there's no way, there's no comparison that you can say that they beat out the DC Extended Universe. You know, not even the Ant-Man scene with him growing all strong and Spider-Man swinging around him. You know, you've seen everything that they've done. They even said it, you know, hey, you guys remember that Star Wars scene? We're going to copy that shit right now. You know, this is Disney, motherfuckers. Yeah, let's do this shit, you know, and fucking drop a goddamn AT-AT on your fucking face, you know what I'm saying? And then say, oh yeah, that's brand new. That's, no. Not going to do it. I'm not going to sit there and fall for that, dude. I'm not going to sit there. But, you know, but DC Extended Universe, we had some original shit. You know, you never seen Superman get murdered on screen, okay? You never seen him get penetrated through his skin. Never seen Batman run like a goddamn chicken. Never seen that, dude. Never seen Wonder Woman kick some ass, lasso up some people. Never seen that. That's original stuff, man. And I just want people to start, you know, being real about it. That's it, man. I'm gonna let you guys go, man. That's it. It's my rant, but it's also just, you know, me, you know, trying to let all this stuff go, man. Now that it's out, you know, we can move on with our lives, you know what I'm saying? I know for a fact now that Marvel did not beat DC Comics, and DC Comics didn't beat Marvel either, because each one of them has something different. Marvel has the comedy. It's a family movie. You'll leave out that motherfucker, you know, feeling like you just got done, you know, eating, you know, 20 bars of chocolate and you're all excited and sugar rushed and catching diabetes. And then, you know, for DC Extended Universe, man, you'll leave there with a little bit of hope because, you know, that damn gravel move. But the rest of the time, you're sitting there depressed as shit because they just murdered Superman on the screen. You know, General Zod got killed in the first movie, and then they fucking murdered Superman. So I guess that's justice inside of a fucking injustice world, man. But whatever, dude. We're out of here, man. That's it, guys. Let me know what you think about both of those movies, man. And more, we'll talk about it more in some more podcasts, man. We're out of here.